Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cantina MX Football Podcast. We're on episode 474. I got a big chip on my shoulder for tonight's episode. Unpacking Jornada 4 of Apertura 2025 Liga MX, of course. But also taking a step back and recapping the final match of Leagues Cup. And also, we have some leaks going around for Mexico's World Cup kit, and it is absolutely disgusting. A lot to unpack tonight, and we are happy to have everyone on. Before we get started, I did drop some new merch at the website, cantinamx.com. We got a trucker hat. It's summertime, so ventilation out of the sides. Check it out there. We also want to hear from our fans. If there's any kind of merch that you guys desire, demand, tag us on Twitter, hit us up on our email, leave us a comment on our Spotify, reach out to us, let us know where we can improve on our podcast. But honestly, I'm not holding back tonight. Obviously, top of mind for me, Chivas losing to Santos in a very frustrating way, the Chivas way, and that's definitely got a chip on my shoulder for now. And cherry on top, seeing the leaked design of this World Cup kit that's been floating, circulating on Twitter. It just rubs me the wrong fucking way. It's absolutely atrocious. Keep in mind that this is not the first leak. We've actually had a previous leak earlier this year that was not received well by the online community and forced Adidas to go back to the drawing board and go for a retro 1998 kit. But the one that's floating online looks like it was shitted out from a shitty AI-generated image. It looks like Adidas just said, hey, try to copy this design from 1998, but modernize it. And it looks like a fucking joke. I really hope that it's not the confirmed kit for the World Cup next year. You know, you got to keep in mind, Mexico's hosting this World Cup for the third time. There's not too many countries that can say they've hosted the World Cup 3 times. And in those previous 2 editions in 1970 and in 1986, we looked fucking fly. We looked dope as fuck. And we went on deep runs, quarterfinal finish, both times. So for the third time, you expect us to come out looking with some swagger, looking clean. And this is not it, folks. But I want to hear from our panel tonight. Joining us from San Diego is Rifado. We'll give him a couple moments to get his mic going and everything. We also have Abdias joining us finally. He's been hiding last couple episodes based on Cruz Azul's performance. So definitely going to give him some shit tonight. Maybe Habibi will join us as well. But really, this episode is for y'all. Rifado, welcome. How you doing?
Good evening. Thanks for having me. How's it going?
Oh, you know, Tuesday, pissing me off with the Mexico jersey leak. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but would love to hear your thoughts on it.
I don't hate it, but it is mediocre as fuck. You know, it doesn't inspire anything.
Yeah, you know, Adidas have had this contract with Mexico since I want to say 2000, basically after the 2006 World Cup. We had Nike for a very short time, and then Adidas kind of swooped in. And, you know, we've had a lot of hit or miss jerseys. And for some reason, the World Cup jerseys have been, you know, iconic, but for wrong reasons. I think about the Charlie Brown kit in 2014. I really didn't like the Power Ranger kit either. But that's what we wore in 2014. 2018 was a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not feeling these jerseys.
You know, we have had a lot of bangers. You know, this last time around, we had that third kit that we never got, or that away kit that we never got to wear officially. That one was a banger. I don't know about you, but I
Which
really
one?
like the the away kit was like a beige with like red. It had like some pre-Columbian pictures
Oh,
on it.
for Qatar.
Yeah, for Qatar. That was a banger. I
Yeah.
don't know if you remember the peacock one. That's not too. That's like this last one. I thought it was really good. So I mean, they're capable of really good kits. I think like us, Nigeria, Jamaica, we have quality kits a lot of the time. Like real like fashion statements where like you could just wear it just to wear it, not because you're a fan of soccer. And they're missing it right now with this. So it's disappointing. We'll see what they come up with.
Yeah. 98 was my first World Cup. So it's always going to be very, very like dear to me and one of my favorite World Cups, honestly. And those kids are just such a perfect like memory and such a perfect homage to the Mexican national team, the culture, our country. And I think at the time, people didn't like it. It was very polarizing. A lot of people thought it was an ugly jersey. And I love the fact that they kept the same design but in white. And then they kept the same design with like a rare green and red outline, which I don't think was ever used in the World Cup, but it's such an iconic jersey. And this is just a disservice to it. It just doesn't fit the bill, and it's Adidas, so I feel like they're just cutting corners and being super cheap. I don't know if Abdias, you're on. How you feeling? How you doing?
Buenas, buenas, putos. Pues miren, yo estoy bien, pero no se preocupen, hombre. Ya llegó por quien lloraban. Ya sé que me extrañaron la semana pasada y la antepasada también, pero no hay pedo, güey. Aquí estoy.
Yeah, we did switch it up to Mondays, but this week, because of the extended Jornada, we decided to go back to our typical Tuesday. But you missed out on a lot of shit, Abdias. We cannot ignore the fact that Cruz Azul got their shit pushed in 7-0 against Seattle. How do you live that down?
I mean, Seattle's the only MLS team that has a CONCACAF championship. So it doesn't hurt. Now, let's not forget, they're playing on turf. Turf lately has been the kryptonite to just about every team in Mexico. There's a reason why Tijuana is able to make their stadium count, because they're one of the few teams in Mexico that plays on artificial turf. So
Now
there's a couple of factors that come in there.
We blaming it on turf, 7-0.
No. I'm just saying there's contributing factors. All right. Now, I'm not going to be here and say like, oh, no, it's nothing. It's a tournament that I don't care about, like certain other people that we know like to be like, es una copa de chocolates, this and that. I don't care. No, way. It matters. They lost 7-0. One of the big things that I would like to point out is something that was mentioned as soon as Larcamón got announced as the head coach, right? Larcamón always said, my teams will attack and keep attacking. Even if they're dying on the field, they will die attacking. And that's what happens when you don't take care of the back, right? We've seen 3 reiterations of Cruz Azul in the past year and a half. We saw Anselmi, who was kamikaze attack, somewhat, took care of the back. We saw Vicente, who was very defensive. The attack was really slow to build, but the defense was solid. And now we're seeing Larcamón here, where once again we're going into that kamikaze style, ignoring the defense. So we just need to be careful with that defense. And I've said it before, it's tricky, right? And furthermore, right now, the news circling around Cruz Azul is that Piovi's about to leave. So that's going to be another big hit that gets taken on the defense.
Inter Miami, no?
Yeah, to Inter. And it seems as if it's a done deal, right? They're looking to get upwards of $7 million for him when Cruz Azul originally paid $4 million to bring him in originally. So therefore, you're already making a winning. Miami is more than willing to pay it. And, what fucking Argentine doesn't want to go suck on Messi's nuts?
Either way, it's a little bit concerning that you give up 7 goals in a half, right? It's not even in the course of 90 minutes. The team completely shut down. And I don't know, Abdias, you probably know better than us. Are the players, teniendo la cama a la camon? Like, are they just not liking his vibe, his style? Because I can see some impulse decisions being made. Obviously, you guys scrapped out a win yesterday, a very, very painfully watch. I watched the game and it was painful to watch. It was atrocious, but you guys got the dub, right? So I don't know what's the vibe with Larcamon, with the players, the fans, the front office.
Mira, first off, I just want to say this and I want to leave it loud and clear. Si no se sufre, no es Cruz Azul. All right? That's the way this shit goes. And you fucking know that. If anybody here or anybody listening is a Cruz Azul fan, si en un partido de Cruz Azul, güey, no te está sudando el culo, no es un buen partido de Cruz Azul. All right? So let's just get that out of the way. Now, the question about tendiendo la cama, right? You know what, man? I don't want to say yes because I don't like to blame the players, at least not in that remark. I hope that they're all professional. But as of lately, the performances by Kevin Mier have definitely left a lot to question.
Very sussy.
Especially when just last season, last 2 tournaments, he has been on a whole nother fucking level. He has been the best goalie in Liga MX. He has been a fucking starter in his national team. He has been doing all of these things the right way. And all of a sudden, as soon as Larcamon comes in, he's got fucking butterfingers? Come on, man. That right there is a big red flag.
It is. Yeah.
So I don't want to say that, hey, le están tendiendo la cama, but something's going on with Kevin Mier. If anything, he needs to go back to Colombia, get like another Virgen Morena, like the one that he had behind the goal, and have it work. Like something's going on there, something's not right, and it has to be looked at internally, externally, from every fucking angle. That's what needs to happen there.
For sure. Habibi, welcome. How you doing?
Gracias. I hope you guys are doing well. With Diaz, so it sounds like his excuses. 6 months ago, Kevin Mier iba para el Bayern. When Larcamon got announced, vamos a ganar el campeonato con Larcamon. And now we're hearing all these excuses. Very, very fragile fan.
¿Cuál, cabrón? No mames. Mira, hoy, mañana, antier y siempre me la pelas, carnal. All right? No fragile fan. And I'm not saying that Cruz Azul is out. We're still going to win the championship. Like, that's not a doubt here, especially the way Larcamon's teams play. They're going to get better later on in the season. All right? So don't get it twisted. Now, your team, on the other hand, doesn't have a fucking puncher's chance at winning a championship.
I was going to say, Habibi, it's, we were also talking about Diego Milito, was it Gabriel Milito, and Fútbol Sexo, and then we crash out of Leagues Cup, and then we actually break Santos's losing streak, which is quite embarrassing. And yeah, it was a very frustrating match. I do have Joel joining us from SoCal. Joel, how we doing? You're on mute, my guy.
Welcome, gentlemen. You were talking about Fútbol Sexo?
Milito and Chivas, a tale as old as time.
No, I saw the match. Actually got to see the second half. It's just one of those games, shit just doesn't go your way. Goalie had 2 really good saves, and then Puli misses the goal, the PK. So yeah, it sucks, but Chivas always has one or two games like that where they'll dominate and not be able to do it much about it. But there was some interesting things. Some of these players are showing some really good things, and given enough time, I see this team really being pretty good. Scary even. It could be scary. But we'll see what happens. As we talked in the chat, Chivas schedule is going to get pretty hectic. So they need to get some W's before they're going to have like 4 or 5 games against teams that are all, I would say, stronger than them.
Yeah, I was watching the broadcast last night between Juarez, Toluca, and it was on Fox Deportes. Juarez lost the match 2-0, and they were talking about their upcoming opponents and how accessible their schedule was. They said, they're going to play against Chivas, Santos, and Mazatlan. That's quite accessible. And this is my point is, we're creating this culture of losing and mediocrity, and Chivas doesn't have the respect or prestige anymore. Teams look at Chivas and they're like, we can beat them. And that is very, very disrespectful, and it just goes to show where we're at as a club. And it's scary. It's like very eerily similar to the current situation at Manchester United. And it's just like, fuck,
Ouch.
bro. It's like this team just like fell off the face of the earth, and like teams look at
But they've been.
They look at that.
Chivas been falling. This is, you could go back 20 years, maybe even 30, and it's been bad. Chivas has never been consistent. I don't think they've gone more than 3 seasons, maybe 4, where they maintained a good style. Well, not style, but like a good level of like liguilla and semis, final.
I wouldn't say 30 years. I would say in the 90s we had some, we were a decent team, and in the early 2000s, and then.
Gracias, Joel. Gracias, because I was gonna say, creating, carnal. This has been created. This has been a thing, and if anything, the running joke, and we've said it here multiple times, is that the only thing that Chivas is good for is for one championship every 10 years.
Yeah, and that's how it's been for.
That's all that you're good for.
50 years. And it's been 50 years like that, Díaz.
¿Y luego qué fue, güey? 4 años sin liguilla. Entonces, no mames, güey. Like, no eres el equipo del de tu bisabuelo. No es el equipo que tu mente cree que es. Like, son un equipo de verga, güey.
No, I would say
and it's been said multiple times. It's because Chivas plays with a handicap. Because they fucking tie their own hands behind their back and decide to only eat fucking beans the whole time.
What Diaz means to say is that Chivas stands for something. But like Chivas
doesn't stand for shit. They have a player that doesn't even know how to speak Spanish.
Hey.
They have fucking Wale that isn't Mexican.
He's been improving. He did an interview in Spanish the other day.
No.
All right, like no mames, güey.
Chicken nuggets.
Cade was born Mexican, dude. It doesn't matter if he speaks Spanish or not. Per the Constitution, he was born
Mira
Mexican.
Latinx. Mira, niña. All right. Antes que se te embonen las pinches bragas. All right. Cálmeseme. Ese cabrón llegó rubio, no hablando español. Like, no mames, güey. Lo mejor que puede decir es, ay, perro. Es lo único que sabe decir ese cabrón. No mames.
Hey,
por favor, respétate más.
Sombrero, okay?
He said, pinche perro.
It does look good with that. Does look with the cowboy hat.
But, Chivas did something that Cruz Azul could not do for all the quality that they have, and that is look good, play well. And in spite of the loss, Chivas did that. Like, there was a moment where Camberos was just tearing up the defense, and I thought a goal was for sure coming, but fucking, I don't know, Acevedo went God mode.
Dude, Acevedo.
He just rained on our
Sandoval, too. Sandoval had that crack. He was almost going to score esos goles de crack.
Hold on. No
Acevedo
mames,
turned
güey.
into like the Acevedo that we all thought was gonna replace Ochoa.
He remembered how to play.
What?
He found the Virgen of the Colombians Virgen.
Hey,
And
what
for
little
once, the
Chivas
ref
safe
was
space are we
gifting us.
running here, bro? Because Chivas looked like shit in the midfield. All right, their game was boring. It was uninspired. Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm saying at the end of the second half,
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the last like 15 minutes?
it was exciting. It was exciting.
Yeah.
Even Wheela fucking troll ass Ron was like, "This is a pretty good game for a neutral." So it was an exciting end to a dramatic game. I mean, it was just a dramatic game, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So you can shit the bed like most of the match, and all you're gonna take away is the last 15?
I
No
mean,
mames, way.
let's analyze the goal. That PK that Santos was awarded
Soft
was
ass call.
not a PK. That shit was not a fucking PK, man. It was soft as fuck. And then Pulido should have scored his penalty, but he didn't.
Also,
and
soft ass call.
Yeah, soft ass call for sure.
It's one of those things that it's fine, right? You get a PK, you got to put it in the back of the net, and if you miss, it's like, oh, ball don't lie, right? But in Santos's case, like it was a stupid foul. I'm not gonna lie, but it didn't merit a PK. And then you look at the Chivas PK, I'm like also like sussy. And then I see Pulido lining up I'm like, oh, we're fucked. We are absolutely royalty.
But Jaime, Pulido had never missed a PK with Chivas.
That's bullshit. He's missed them before. I remember.
Not in league play, bro.
He's missed a PK. I gotta go back and find it, but he's missed a PK with Chivas.
Well, he had 10
Not in league play, though.
PKs. He had 10 consecutive PKs, and this was his first miss. So
Yeah.
he's been hot.
Still, at the end of the day, you look at who's hot right now, and that's Hormiga in League's Cup. When we had that penalty shootout against, was it Charlotte? He scored the winning PK for us, and it was a great PK. And I think Hormiga right now is our best striker. And
hey,
you like fuck hierarchy, fuck seniority. Like you take the PK, you give it to Ant-Man.
What's going on with El Misógano Mayor? I actually want to see him now, and he's disappeared.
And I get it. You're back at Chivas. You want to score goals. You want to, build that confidence if you're Alan Pulido. But that's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. And I think Chivas deserve to lose that match. Just for them missing that PK, they deserve to fucking lose. And it's such a shame because Santos didn't do a goddamn thing. They just got the PK and parked the bus for the rest of the game. And Chivas, of course, jugando como nunca y perdiendo como siempre. It's like, again, a tale as old as time. And then I look at San Luis Cruz Azul and I'm like, this game is dog shit. I don't know how Cruz Azul won that fucking match. I'm like, fuck me, bro.
Con garra y colmillo, güey. That's how you win that match. All right?
Yeah.
Sufriendo, como dijo Efraín Juárez, cagando sangre. Porque para ser campeón, tienes que cagar sangre.
The perpetual
Sacrificio.
losers, the perpetual joke job is trying to tell us about God. Come on, man.
Señor, how many ligas have we missed?
Como sangrar sangre. I mean, Seattle definitely lo hizo sangrar.
How many finals have you watched?
You guys are no longer Cruz Azul. You guys, we need to refer Cruz Azul as Seattle's bitch.
Oh,
That asshole was definitely bleeding. So someone knows about bleeding. It's good.
Yeah. And to add salt to the wound, Chiquete Orozco, I don't know what happened since his arrival at Cruz Azul, but he got the double yellow card yesterday and left at the 94th minute. I really thought San Luis was going to tie it up and steal those 3 points from Cruz Azul, but they were able to hold on to that 2-1 lead yesterday. One thing I want to point out, I really enjoy Monday Night Football, and I want it to be a thing. It doesn't have to be 3 games, but it would be nice for Liga MX to have games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then a showcase on Monday. I love it.
If that's the case, entonces, ¿cuál sería el partido estelar? ¿El domingo o el del lunes?
I think there's just something special about having an extra match on Monday. It's like when you go to McDonald's and you eat your fries, and then you're like, damn it, I wish there was some more fries. And then you look at the bottom of the bag, and there's like a big ass one that I don't know how you missed it. And you're like, thanks. Thanks, Ronald. Thanks for that extra fry. I really enjoyed that. That's how I feel about Liga MX on Mondays. It's like, you know what? I'm still not fulfilled. I want one more match, and it's Monday night.
You know what? I get the sentiment, but that was a weak ass analogy, bro. I'll give you a better one. It's like when you go to Burger King.
Who the fuck eats at Burger King? You fucking
Wait,
Cruz
La
Azul,
Selección
man.
Mexicana eats at Burger King. What are you talking about?
Bro.
All right? Official sponsor.
I know you're not, I know you're not picking Burger King over McDonald's.
It's when you go to Burger King and you're eating your fries,
Bro.
and then you look at the bottom of the bag and there's an onion ring. And you feel blessed. Because you didn't order onion rings, but there's just that one right there waiting for you.
Oh my!
Is that little extra? Is that little thing that you wanted?
Yo! It's all
Burger
about
King
Carl's
sold
Jr.
on
Everybody
you.
knows that Mexico's burger is Carl's Jr.
In Mexico,
Right.
it is. In Mexico, not here in the States, but in Mexico, Carl's Jr. smacks.
Y es el sponsor de las Chivas.
Thomas, you gotta weigh in on this, man.
Yeah, buenas noches, gentlemen. A mí denme un quarter pounder with cheese. I'll take
Royale
that.
cheese.
Real quick, I'm not much of a club guy. I'm kind of ignorant in that. Sounds like you guys are going through it a little bit. My condolences. Hope you guys get through it. But I wanted to ask about that jersey, right? Is it just me, or is it just general state of team jerseys in general across the globe just getting shittier? Because Mexico,
Yes.
this is going to be an important
Yes.
World Cup for Mexico. So you would think they would bust out the A tier shit, but I don't know.
That's not confirmed, right? That's a leak.
It's a leak, and
Okay.
you can put your conspiracy hat on and say Adidas is just doing a little bit of A/B testing and seeing how the people react. Because this looks AI generated. If you ask me, it looks like it was put through Chapin. That's what I call it, ChatGPT, and that's what it spit out. It doesn't look like an official jersey. But this is their second leak, right? The other one was more of a throwback to I don't know if it was the 70s. And
Yeah.
it also didn't have a good reaction. So who knows? Maybe it's all smoke and mirrors.
And then for the World Cup, I'm very much just like a national team guy. I'm like a nationalist, so I just care about the overall success of the national team. Question for you guys: for the young players, right? Like the Marcel Ruiz, I think he was going to Palmeiras, or maybe I don't know if he was. Do you guys think it's wise for a young player right now to be making moves to big teams, or at this point, it's probably just get reps in, right? Get reps in and get in a good flow prior to the World Cup, or do you guys think it's smart for them to be making those big jumps right now?
Yeah, the Palmeiras rumor, it just won't go away. It started off with 8 million, then 10 million. They keep upping the ante on the bid, which shows that they're serious. It's a scary move right now, though. You're gonna go to the Brazilian league, which, let's be honest, we don't have much success there. We don't have too many pioneers playing in the Brazilian league. So a year away from the World Cup, you're a starter at a championship team in Toluca, and the World Cup's gonna be in your backyard. So you're already playing in the altitude. I don't know if that is the smartest move, and I also don't know how much there is to that rumor.
Yeah, the only thing with that league, I mean, it's a good league. You see a lot of the young, promising players going to Chelsea, Madrid, Barca, that kind of thing. But if you look at Rios, the Colombian guy that was at Palmeiras, he balled out with Palmeiras. He had a good Club World Cup. And where did he wind up at? Benfica. And you cannot tell me that if you ball out in Liga MX, that you cannot make the jump to Benfica or
Directly.
Porto.
Yeah.
So I don't see it as a major
I thought he went to
upgrade.
Sporting Club de Lisboa.
Cool.
Rios.
Rios? No, I
Rios.
think Rios is at Benfica. pretty sure he's at Benfica. But it doesn't. Anyways, I'm 100% sure he's at Benfica. But regardless, Benfica, Sporting Porto, you can go there directly from Liga MX. So I hear a lot of like Mexican reports saying, oh, if he goes to Brazil and kills it, he'll go to a big club. Not necessarily.
Yes, Richard Rios was at Palmeiras and just joined Benfica. And I agree. You can make that jump directly. Raul Jimenez went straight from Huilas to, I guess he went to Atletico Madrid and then he went to Benfica.
Yeah.
But we have seen Mexicans go to Porto directly. Ache comes to mind.
But if he went to Palmeiras, that shouldn't be his goal to go to Europe. Because as you guys are saying, you don't really need to go there if that's your end game. You should go there because to play Libertadores, to win a Brazilian championship, like you said, be a pioneer. Because there hasn't really been Mexicans in that league, and it is a very good league.
What? Yeah.
And we agree with you. It's risky with the World Cup and how long it took that guy to get into the mix because he was playing good for a long time, and it seemed like he was just being ignored, or he just was blacklisted. And he's finally, he could potentially be starter or key player. So you don't want to mess with that. And he is key player at Toluca, and it's a very strong team, and it's a team that from here to the World Cup, if they don't do much changes, can continue being one of the main contenders in the IMX and fighting for all these campeonatos. And he's at the forefront of that. If he did leave, you maybe want to stipulate something in your contract where you're like guaranteed X amount of playing time. If not, they could let you return, because you're not going to waste a year not playing or being in the bench. And if that team is willing to pay that much, it's obvious that they're not going to bench him. But to me, it's a bit risky. I'll just wait till after the World Cup and then go wherever you want to. At that point, you already did everything.
High rewards. So look at Huesca. So he's in Denmark. Not a lot of people rate that league, but today he scored a goal in the early rounds of Champions League. So that does something for your confidence. You might not be at Cruz Azul any longer, one of the top teams in Mexico, but you're playing European ball, you're scoring in Champions League, your team keeps moving on. It gives you a little bit of confidence, a little bit of swagger when you get called up to national team. With Marcel, he's not going to get any better at Toluca, and for him to fall off the starting 11, he would have to be ass like for a good 3-4 months. Like he could play a couple bad games, and it won't matter. As far
that could happen really easy. Look what happened to Ochoa when he went to Malaga.
Habibi,
Bro, Ochoa has been ass for fucking years.
But I mean, he wasn't bad when he went there.
In Liga MX, that's what I'm saying. He's comfortable in Liga MX. So I remember Guardado, he said one of the problems with Lainez was that he wouldn't understand that in Europe, if you played well, it didn't mean you started the next game. You still had to show up at every practice that week.
Yeah.
And Lainez thought that because he played a good game, he was going to start next game. And he's like, no, that's not how it works. There's guys here that want to replace me every single day. And it seems like Lainez never understood that.
I have a quick question for everybody. Objectively, do you guys think the Brazilian league is better than the Mexican league? More competitive?
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Not even a doubt.
Yes.
This is like asking about the Mexico-Argentina rivalry. It's all Mexico.
All right, so
hold on 1 second.
I just want to mention this really quickly.
I think it's close, and Brazil.
Oh,
close. Look at how they dominate Libertadores. Ron's wet dream.
Hey, but
look at what they did at the Club World Cup. Now, something else to look at.
Didn't Pachuca beat Palmeiras?
Yes, and Palmeiras was coming off no rest or some shit. I don't know, but overall, they're dominating Libertadores. They did well in the Club World Cup. You're not gonna put Mexican teams dominating Libertadores like that.
They're stronger teams. Their stronger teams are going to be stronger than the Liga MX teams.
También cabrones. Brazil is the one league in all of Latin America that pays the best.
Yeah.
They bring in the best talent. They bring in the young talent. They develop it. They do everything right. The Brazilian league is fucking miles better than the Mexican league.
I would not say miles better. I also have to remind you, isn't there like more than 20 teams in the league? Like, how does it work? Because I know that.
Yeah, they kind of like 2 campeonatos.
Yeah.
It's a desmadre, but regardless, it's a lot of competition, a lot of games being played, a lot of players trying to move abroad or players returning that are still very good.
A lot of roce.
I would say objectively, if you were to take, let's say, like the top 5, top 10 teams in Brazil versus the top 10 teams in Mexico, I think you have a case. I think you can say, yes, like they are better. But I also don't think it's miles better than Liga MX.
No, not miles.
I don't think it's that big of a gap.
You're wearing rose-colored glasses, bro. No way. They would push our shit in constantly.
I don't think so, bro.
The Brazilians would give us more credit than Diaz does.
Wait, you mean to tell me? Hold on. You mean to tell me a Botafogo, a Cruzeiro, a Flamenco, like those teams wouldn't come in here y pendejear a Chivas, América, a Cruz Azul y a Pumas?
We said top 10, bro. Who the fuck said Chivas is in the top 10 right now?
No, Chivas, bro. If Chivas showed anything, was that
we're talking about the new teams, the Monterreys, the Tigres. I think Toluca.
I don't know what it really is about. It's that
Chivas is the doggo meme when it comes to Libertadores.
Wait.
And now he wants to drag us as well.
Wait, you've been getting dragged left and right for the past 4 seasons.
No, but Chivas could be cheats, but in Libertadores, they're the doggo meme. They're all teammates DMX, but once they're in Libertadores, they're all swole. And their
we've gone
results
to Libertadores finals too.
I know, but I'm saying Chivas, but I'm just saying that they're a team that when the Libertadores, they're a whole different team. It's like, who are these guys?
The only team here that has never gone to a Libertadores final es el más grande de todos. ¿Verdad? Las pinches huilas nunca han podido llegar a una final. All right? I know, because we're talking about Libertadores, so his dick is getting hard right now. I can tell. I can feel it.
We had a chance against South Caetano, with the striker Somalia. That team disappeared. The team that don't exist anymore.
And then they got bounced out in the pre-Libertadores. Like pinche vergüenza.
Before I lose the thought, I do want to add something significant about the Brazilian-Mexican connection. They did acquire some broadcasting rights, and it's on Sporting Net. It's a YouTube channel, and I thoroughly enjoyed that broadcast on Sunday nights. And I don't know what's going on. The Brazilians are looking at Liga MX, and they're trying to create that relationship, and I like it. I love it. And
wasn't there a tweet saying, "Hey, how about we collab a cup, you and guys"? Was that from an official account? You guys saw that tweet?
What was it?
It was like the Brazilians saying, like, "Hey, what's up? We should be playing our own cup."
They did
Brazil
say
versus Mexico.
So that's the reason I asked the question, because I think that there's a mutual benefit for both countries and both leagues to establish some type of just under the table relationship. Like, hey, we send players your way, you send players our way, we get exposure. I mean, if you look at the Brazilian league on social media, they're super active. They're like well-run accounts.
Yeah.
It's not like these Russian teams that once in a while you see my tweet.
That's not gonna work. But if they play a lot, that will a lot of just keep playing matches. Go to Florida if you have to. Just keep competing against those teams, and I think that would be beneficial because Mex has tried the sending players. It just never works.
Dude, you need to go look at the Brazilian meme pages, like soccer meme ones. It's like X videos meets Mexican comedy. They're like wild out there. But as far as the connection with it, I've also found it interesting that you'll find like Brazilian X pages of like Liga MX Brasileiro or Azul Crema Brasileiro, like America Twitter fan pages in Brazil. It's weird. Like you don't see that hype. You don't see Argentines or Mexicans making Twitter pages of Brazilian teams or shit like that. But for some reason, Brazil loves Mexico, man, and I'm all for it. I think it's the perfect combination. It's like salt and pepper.
I think
I
it has
agree,
to do with
dude.
Chavo del Ocho.
Chavez. They call him Chavez. Is there any other Brazilians besides the dudes in Toluca?
What do you mean?
Los
To the-
That in
Kennedys.
Liga MX?
Yeah, Los
Just
Kennedys.
the Kennedy
Pachuca.
in Pachuca.
one of
So
them lived. Didn't John Kennedy leave?
Yeah. It's only one Kennedy, actually. Yeah, you're right.
two. I mean, there should be more Brazilians overall, though. There.
Damn, did he get
Helino.
double
Pretty
tapped in the
good.
dome?
Helino.
Huh?
Oh, dude, that Helena guy from Toluca, he looked like ass cheeks his first tournament. And right now he's cooking, bro. Right now he can
Yeah.
like make a name to like top 5 foreigners in the league. He looks really good.
But yeah, like I said, really enjoyed that broadcast in Portuguese. And if you guys want to watch their broadcast on YouTube, all you need is a VPN and change your location to Brazil. It was the Pumas Necaxa game, and they actually are going to be streaming the Monterrey Mazatlan match in a couple days. So yeah, super cool. And I'm loving this Brazilian Mexican connection. I really hope that we continue to do business, and who knows, maybe they can help us get into Libe, or they can come join our, tournament. Who knows? We'll see. But keep an eye on that for that. I think there's no coincidence that, they're trying to sign a Mexican player. But I to go back to Tomas's original question, I think Marcel Ruiz is good for now at Toluca, and if he just bides his time, he should be getting some pretty big exposure and signing a pretty big contract after the World Cup next year.
I just wanted to interject one thing about the Brazilians. So the thing about it is, this is the era where it can actually happen. Like it was just announced that Villarreal and Barcelona are going to play a game in the United States, and like we're going to have official games in the U.S. Like it's open season now, and I think a collaboration with South American teams is definitely in the works. I think we're going to see an expansion of Leagues Cup, something like that, and maybe like a special version of Libertadores. But I think it's all going to start happening soon, with like, now that the floodgates have opened, with like league games from Spain being able to be played in the United States now.
Hold on. Before you get way too wet over here, let's just clarify something. They have proposed it. They haven't said that it's going to happen, and now they're waiting for UEFA approval. Now, the thing about UEFA approval is that ultimately it's going to be depending on FIFA if they allow them to come and play a game over here, because FIFA is concerned about Saudi money. They're concerned about games being moved to Saudi Arabia just as much as they're concerned about Saudi teams trying to work their way into the UEFA Champions League. So that's where you're going to hit a roadblock where it might not be allowed to happen. So this shit isn't a done deal. They announced their intent, and the Spanish league deferred it over to UEFA.
Yeah, I'm still very skeptical that this will happen, and I'd be shocked if it goes through.
Dude, as a Madrid fan, like sporting wise, I'm very against it because Villarreal is a tough like stadium to play away. And now Barcelona gets the benefit of going to Miami, which is supposed to be neutral stadium, but it's gonna be pro Barca, so all of a sudden they get a home game while Madrid has to go play away in Villarreal. So
It's a
to me,
slippery slope.
yeah, it's bullshit. I'd say keep it as it is. That's where you have preseason, Club World Cup, and all that bullshit, so you can take it around the world.
Hey, what's up with La Liga giving up the goods? They're like a broke whore because they've already made like official cup matches outside of Spain. Like I remember they were playing it wasn't Copa del Rey, it was another Copa, and I was like, why the fuck are they playing this?
Supercopa, man, that's other
Yeah.
bullshit. You remember the Spain guy who got accused for like celebrating too much with the women, like kissing them, the bald guy, Rubiales?
Oh, when
You
they
mean the fucking goat?
the
Yeah,
guy
the goat.
when they you mean when they won the World Cup and he kissed her or whatever?
Yeah, him. So him and Pique, well, Pique was an active player for Barcelona. They made a pact with the Saudis to take Supercopa over there, and they get a lot more money, and then each of them get a cut. Like they brokered the deal. And it's another thing. It's bullshit. Why is Pique an active player making those type of deals? Same thing with that guy who's the president of the federation at the moment.
Yeah.
Like it's I don't know, man, but it
Another one,
all corruption roads lead back to Barcelona.
really quickly. Another one was the Caribobo Cup that they've been playing it over there for the last couple years.
Wait, the English league? No. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Carabao Cup's in England. But what was I going to say? I'm saying the floodgates are opening, and we're going to see professional Liga MX games in the U.S. and South America. Like they're going to see that it's like open season in the U.S. where you can make a lot of money. They don't have a lot of money. Well, Brazil does, but some other South Americans don't. And I think we're going to see collaboration because of it. I think it's all going to happen. It's in the works.
Yeah,
And-
we'll see.
Hold on. Are you talking about those broke ass Argentinians? Esos cabrones que nomás
Pero-
pueden comer una vez al día.
Tenemos 3 copas, loco.
Aguante, pasión.
Mira, así de simple te la pongo, güey. ¿Cuántas veces se come en Argentina? Porque en México tenemos como 5 comidas, güey. Allá todo lo que comen es pasión y verga.
One thing I want to add about the Marcel Ruiz like rumors and all these millions of dollars being thrown out. I was watching Culi Peña's interview or podcast with the former Cruz Azul goalkeeper. I always forget his fucking name. Anyways, he was
Just call him el reportero.
Reportero. Yeah. He was dismissing all the rumors about him making millions and millions of dollars when he got that offer to play in Dubai, that they were going to pay him like $4 million, and he's like, I wish it was 4 million, but it was actually closer to 40,000 pesos, which is equivalent to 2,000 US dollars. And he basically dismissed a lot of the rumors that were flowing around throughout his career. He said none of them are true. Like, yeah, don't believe everything that you hear out there. And he's like, and I'm not one to, I'm a shy person. Like I keep to myself. I'm not someone I'm not active on social media. and he's like, look, I just ignored everything and I just played. So
that's crazy, bro. Cause he's like, I'm just a shy person. But there's like that video of him, like where a random girl wants to like just have a picture with him, and he just starts making out with her.
I'm just
All right. Hold on.
I'm just a chill guy. That's
the awkward.
Pero te meto los dedos cuando quieras, mamá. Okay, no hay pedo. Look, here's the deal, all right? For the record, if anyone hasn't seen that interview, he has it on Spotify, it's on
YouTube.
Apple Podcast, YouTube, fucking everywhere, all right? Go listen to it. It's a hell of a thing. As a norteño, and especially someone from Tamaulipas, I never knew Guli was from Ciudad Victoria. I have family there. And listening to him talk, güey, era como escuchar a mis tíos en una peda just talking. It was so fucking refreshing and great. I loved it.
He's very like humble and down to earth. He really reminds me we all have that one person you play in the Sunday league with all the has-beens and fat Mexicans, and you play for like 30 minutes and then you have a chela and you end up just pisteando the whole fucking day. And that's what he reminds me of, just like a guy who was like really gifted and talented at soccer, but he's just gonna drink after the game. Like that's just the vibe, bro.
I mean, one of the
Those
best
are the guys
things.
who learn from the most.
Exactly. One of the best things that was said during that interview was, el tercer tiempo de cada partido es el mejor tiempo. All right, especialmente de una final. Porque cómo se festeja esa copita, no hombre, güey, como ninguna otra. It was fucking great. And he always said, he's like, yeah, I like to party. I like to drink. This last time that I got in trouble, it wasn't even that I was driving. We were leaving a marisco spot. Yeah, I'd had a couple beers. I haven't had a team in 2 years. I'm relaxing. I'm with my friends. Y luego el tránsito se nos puso picudo, nos amenazó. And that's where, like, my friends got froggy. And le cantaron el tiro. They're like, yo, bro, you're abusing your power. If we would have told you the wild shit that you just told us, we would all be in jail. Like, that's what happened.
Tell your wife. That's what that story sounds like. Explain to her why you got home late. But, you know, building on that Gulli thing, tying it to Marcel Ruiz, when I saw the first tweets from Brazilian journalist Barsuel going over there, I was like, this is total bullshit. The numbers don't add up. Because they were saying 900,000 USD a month. I'm like, you're looking over $10 million a year for 4 years, plus his $14 million transfer fee. You're telling me Palmeiras is willing to spend over $50 million on Marcel Ruiz over the next 4 years? Like, it just doesn't fucking add up. So that's how I knew that shit was bullshit.
Yeah. No, I really did enjoy the Gulli interview, and it goes to show a lot of these people come from very humble beginnings, right? They're not hijos de papi, and they don't come from money. They just got lucky, got sighted, got scouted. He was part of the Pachuca Academy, and he talked about all the clubs that he's played at. He talked about how he went to León and helped them get promoted, and he really enjoyed that title. He said that title was very special, and he also said that Matosas was like his best coach. He understood him and was like a second father to him. And then he also cleared up the things about Chivas and why he cried. He said that it wasn't about him leaving León. It was just like realizing what he had accomplished and, just basically just getting emotional about this move because he was joining the biggest club in Mexico, and that was like, wow, I really made it. And he did a self-awareness. He said he had a great start at Chivas, and then the second half wasn't so great. And yeah, he's basically just happy that he gets to play the game. He says he enjoys playing, and that he's like lucky that he's still getting paid to play.
One of the best lines from that interview was, voy a seguir jugando mientras que tenga salud y el cuerpo me aguante. Ahora, de que dé pena, esa es otra cosa. He just loves the game. He's going to continue playing until the fucking knees give out. All right? And you know what? My hat's off to you, sir. Now, another...
That pena thing, though, I saw Chapito Montes playing Sunday League here in the U.S. Bro, he looked terrible, man. He's like out of shape. He can barely keep up with these Sunday League players. And it's like, man, at one point, he was like the guy we were missing for the 2014 World Cup. Like him getting injured before the World Cup is like the worst thing ever. And now here he is playing Sunday League, dando pena.
Speaking of El Beeper, have you seen him at Bell Gardens? I know that's where they play their scrimmages at.
I haven't seen him, but my friend has, and yeah, he's having the time of his life.
I would just like to point out the realest Mexican has just entered the fucking room. Y'all can hear that? The realest one here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Albert, I don't know if you have anything to add on. We talked a little bit about everything, but with Gulli Peña, I don't know if you caught that interview he did with the reportero, and how he talked about his journey and how he's he likes to pistear, he likes to play soccer, and that's just like the vibe.
I mean, who doesn't enjoy having a good Sunday league game and opening up a couple brews after? That seems to be his life now. So let him be. And he gets
Now-
paid. He gets paid. He gets paid to. I haven't been told how much, but I mean, he makes a decent living doing what he does.
Hey, did he recover though from that injury? Like, did he ever recover?
Are you talking about Chapito?
Yeah.
Chapito
Yeah,
did
but he's playing
recover.
Sunday league. He recovered.
But I mean, to the point where he was able to play at a good level, like not. Do you know what I mean?
Remember. I mean, he looked important when he came back.
He bounced back.
Well, after
Yeah, he bounced
the
back.
injury, he played the Chivas and he was part of the championship team.
No, not Chapito. That was.
Oh, Gallito, my bad. Yeah, you're right. Chapito. Yeah, you're right. Chapito. Yeah, Chapito wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's.
Sunday league for some teams that go.
Well,
both the US
didn't he get called up by was it Osorio? Somebody called him up and he got mad. He said that they were just using him as a relleno and he didn't show up.
No, I
So
think that was
he must have
Gallito.
been okay.
No, I think that was Gallito.
No.
Because
It was
Gallito
Chapito.
got pissed that
Was it?
Osorio wanted to play Dueñas as CDM because Dueñas was tall. And that's all Osorio cared about, the height advantage in midfield, winning those.
So they called him as a relleno then. Okay.
Yeah, and Gallito's like, so what the fuck are you calling me up for then?
Oh yeah, then Chapito never really recovered that.
You know what bothered me about Chapito? He was always a player that I thought would end up wearing the Chivas jersey, and he refused to come.
Good for him.
Good for him, honestly. Good for Valleys. Hey, but Jaime, I got a question for you. You said something about hijos de papi, and or pobres, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Will you say that Hugo Sanchez, Rafa Marquez, and Chicharito are Mexico's best three?
No.
Yes.
I think they are. They have to be.
If
I
you
mean,
say
everybody
those
put
are the
Cuauhtemoc up
best
there.
three. I know Hugo wasn't poor. I know Chicharito wasn't poor. I'm not sure about Rafa, but I would say he wasn't.
Rafa was
No,
middle
Rafa-
class in Zamora. He was middle class. I don't think
Exactly.
his father
His parents
died
were
when he was
doctors, no?
young.
One of
Okay,
his parents
so
is a doctor.
is that a big coincidence right there that the guys that came from families that kept them level grounded didn't allow them to blow their money, like spend shit, or is that just a big coincidence, or you think there might be something tied to it? Same thing with Santi Jimenez, is that
Yeah.
proper
But
background?
Santi hasn't really accomplished anything.
No, I'm saying he hasn't accomplished anything, but is it?
Great.
Do we think
Great
that's
toss in Milan.
Do we think that's the key?
National
Like,
team.
What's
coming in
what's
being hijos de
what's
papi?
No, mommy.
I think
does anybody
that
know?
once you stand on the shoulders of giants, it's a lot easier. There's like that joke where they ask
No.
hey, look, they ask billionaires like, hey, what's your advice for a young entrepreneur? Like, what should I do? Like, oh, well, all you got to do is borrow like 150 million from your grandfather and then start a business. Like, obviously, bro, like you're asking the wrong fucking person. I think with Javier's case, like he took advantage of being a third gen, from coming from his grandfather and his father.
But he struggled. If you see, he was
He did.
about to quit.
He was about to quit. I remember.
He couldn't break into the first team, and
They
he
wouldn't,
got
they wouldn't
But
even
there's a big
they wouldn't even let
difference.
him play in the Interliga games. I saw the poor kid
Yeah.
in the corner of the bench, dejected because they wouldn't put him
and
in.
he didn't make it to the under 17. He was part of that generation, and he got left
But-
out.
But you know why he
The
got
17
left
team was
out?
because of
Because the coach didn't want to take too many Guadalajara strikers, so that's why they left him out and they took Andrete.
Yeah, but there's a
And
big
it-
difference between quitting because your mental or emotional side can't handle it, or
No, it's
quitting
a
because like shit, I'm like 21, my family's struggling at home, they need help with the bills, they need food on the table. This isn't going anywhere. I gotta get my ass to work. Like those are two different kinds of pressures.
No, but I mean, because this is the one thing to keep in mind, that a lot of players, they don't have, like, outside of football, they don't do much. Like, look at this guy playing llanero, and some like Cheech having an option to have a career. So that's I mean, can just discount that you could have a career and finish school and do all these other things. Um, so I mean that it's understandable, you know. It's not like this is all you have, and now you're going to be at the car wash or some other job like that. What was the player that was working construction here in the U.S.? He was like in the
Gomez.
youth.
Gomez.
La momia, la momia.
Yeah, dude, he's such a land. I was like, damn.
But that's players that come up from poor upbringings. Like, look at Chapito.
That's right, though.
Chapito's playing Sunday League in the U.S. and Mexico
Yeah.
to make an extra buck. Chicharito, he's already transitioned into his influencer stage. Like, that's where he's gonna make his money from his TikTok views and stuff like
Hey,
that.
look at Cuauhtemoc though. The guy came from the gutter and he's a politician. So
He's like, oh,
And
yeah.
he's being accused of corruption.
Hey,
That's literally what I was gonna say. A
That's every
politician
Mexican
being
official.
accused of being in bed with a
What
cartel,
else is new?
stealing money, and raping his sister.
hey, I got a question. What's the story with Cuauhtemoc as far as his background? Did he grow up poor or what's?
well, yeah, he grew up. I think
Yeah,
his
Tepito.
grandma and his mom raised him in Tepito, and
Yeah. On the street.
what he was. I heard him say that there was a scout that found him, and he had to ask the scout like, "Hey, at least give me fucking fucking bus money to go," because he was financially. I think that he's Cuauhtemoc is the last true ídolo de barrio because he literally came from the gutter and
Dude
he
is a
rode
literal
train.
hunchback. Of course he's poor, man. Come on.
He should have been ringing the bells at Notre Dame.
I mean, we've heard the
Really?
story
Okay.
about Alexis Vega where they had to like literally sell all the furniture for him to go to training and all that. So I know Alexis Vega comes from like a really like poor like
Yeah, he was
background.
Well,
poor.
even what's the name? The guy that had a pretty sad upbringing was Carlos Salcido.
Salcido.
Yeah, he said that
he quit.
no, it goes back. He said that when he was a kid, they didn't have money to eat, so like they would go to their tio's house, and then their tios got they got the hang that these guys would come and eat, and they would tell them to go, and then they would go. They said that after they couldn't go to tio's house, they would go to a friend's house like at 2 in the afternoon. They would tell them, "Sí, vamos a jugar a las escondiditas." And the friend was like, "Why now?" But when they were playing escondiditas, they would go into the kitchen and they would get food and fruit. I mean, because they to eat. So that guy really came from the. And at 21,
Yeah.
he was cleaning cars in Ocatlan.
Yeah, he quit because they brought him up to the Chivas and he was playing with the youth team and he stopped going. So Güero Real had to go look for him, and he's like, "I need, my family needs money. I can't be playing football." And so Güero Real says they started giving him like some money for him to help out his family, and they started paying him even though he wasn't under contract yet.
So with all these stories, do you guys truly believe we have 10 Messis running around in Mexico and they're just broke?
No. Look, and I had the discussion earlier. I told him, you know what? It's not about the talent; it's the discipline. And you know what? I have a case. My cousin. So his son, he played in some selección de futsal under 17. They went to Paraguay, and I guess he did good. So what's the name? So my cousin, he knows a guy from Cholos, and he was trying to get him in, but he said he didn't move forward because his kid doesn't have discipline, and that's what it comes down to. Like, guy, they could be talented. Yeah. They could be talented about it, but they don't have the discipline, especially in today's game it's more developed and everything. It's not just about fucking showing up and kicking the ball, doing a cotamina. No, it's a discipline that you have to go train, you have to eat the proper food.
They got talked about that.
Would have been successful in this era.
Yeah, in this interview.
What? I'm actually really happy that you say that because as we were just talking about the Gulli interview, right? He says it himself. I was scouted when I was 8 years old. From that point on, I had the mentality and I knew that that's what I was gonna do. All right, that was my path in life.
Yeah.
I was gonna follow it, and I wasn't able to go to Pachuca until I was 13 years old. At 13 years old, I left home with 100 pesos in my pocket. All that my dad was able to give me was 100 pesos, y me la rifé.
And
Like that right there is
Yeah.
discipline
he
and
also
everything else.
He also mentioned like when he first left to Pachuca that within like the first month he's like, I can't do this. And he talked to his dad, and his dad's like, you have to stick it out. And you know, he talked to his mom, and his mom's like, no, come home. And he was just talking about like how moms are always gonna like, you know, spoil you. But his dad convinced him to like stick it out, and he knew that like this was his chance. And
Yeah.
you hear that story time and time again. I remember one that rubbed me the wrong way was Hector Herrera, and how he just wasn't like he got in so many opportunities. I think he played at like Indios or something. He was part of like the Indios de Ciudad Juarez, and like he was just like being kind of like thrown all over the place. And that he talked to his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, who ended up being his wife, and his girlfriend's like, yeah, just give it up, like just look at something else, like you should just give up soccer. And that he's like, oh, I'm gonna try one more time. And that's finally when he like got into the Pachuca and like, you know, ended up having a great career. But it's crazy to think that like some of these players like were on the brink of like quitting. Chicha's one of them too as well.
Yeah.
I just want to put in one thing to
it's now
Habibi's
his
point.
ex-wife. For a reason.
Habibi, you were saying that like, you know, you named players that were well off, and you're saying that that's the route, like, or you're saying like
No,
our
I
best
asked
players,
if it's a coincidence. I didn't say that's the route. I
Yeah.
okay, but I just want to say that like the counterpoint to that is that the two best players arguably in the history of the game are certified gutter blood in Maradona and Pele. We're talking about, you know, from the poorest class, both these guys, and they went on to be the best players
Well, that doesn't count, bro.
of their generation.
That doesn't count.
I mean, in the history of football,
they're all
like,
poor except Kaká. They're all
I mean, yeah, a
remember
lot of
poor?
them in Brazil are poor for sure.
I think
they're all poor. Ronaldinho, Ronaldo, Romario.
I heard
Neymar,
Cristiano, his mom
Vini.
wanted to abort him.
Oh yeah.
Cristiano.
Damn.
they're all
Would you
poor.
say Messi was poor? Cause like he
Oh,
yeah, they were poor. They couldn't afford
They
his
couldn't afford the hormone
treatment.
treatments.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're
No.
poor, though. I mean, people.
Yeah, they're
middle-class
poor. I
people
mean,
can't
come on.
I would say they were
No,
middle class
they have
because they were able to facilitate
Pre-
a move and live with family in Barcelona. So like
it's free medical in Argentina and they couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
They're poor.
Well, I think at the time, like human growth hormone was like, you know,
Yeah.
in its trial. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
wasn't
like
like
basic medical.
Messi has
like,
more
here's
hormones than a Costco chicken.
I wonder if
I
some
wonder-
of those hormones were injected into Yamal when he was doing that photo op when he was a
Damn.
babe.
honestly,
You never
it'd be
know,
crazy
man.
not to do it, man. Like if you're a parent and you have like a serious contender, and then you're like, man, if I get
Yeah.
the HGH now, like it'll never
Yeah.
show up on, like.
But wasn't all the bikers doing that? All the ones
Yeah.
that do the cycling,
Yeah.
right? They all got caught. They were just blaming Armstrong at first, and then it's like, hey, everyone was doing it, and they still took his medals. No, but I wanted to add, like, I think that's like an old argument, you know, from way back when, where it was like you needed to be poor because you were hungry, not literally, but also, you know, hungry to succeed. And I guess that happened a lot, you know. But I think football's progressed a lot now.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, to the point where even if you come from well off, even if your dad was like, you know, or your second, third generation, it doesn't exactly mean that you're gonna make it. Gio's was the third brother, never got far. You know, there's many other.
He was too busy eating Carlos Jr. That's why.
Or
No, honestly, I
just to
think
make
it's a little bit of both. Because I think when you're poor,
Yeah.
you don't have the bubble of club soccer. So you got kids your age trying to break your leg, trying to punch you because you nutmeg them. So you learn to play against that adversity. But at the same time, the benefits of club soccer is that they're teaching you how to settle the ball from this angle, depending where it's coming from, or you have access to
Yeah,
like
it's
better things.
organized. Yeah.
But so you need a little bit of both. But you will never have a club player go into the hood and be the best one. But you will have the best hood player walk into a club and be the best player.
I don't know, man, because
I don't
you
know.
don't really kind of
No,
have cup players risking their
Look,
careers
players in
to
academy,
play
players in
in the
academy,
llano.
they go through a lot of
I'm
development,
talking about you
weights,
take a
nutrition.
12-year-old from the suburbs who's the best kid at his private club, and you put
Well,
him
it
in a
depends where
really
they
good
play.
you put him in a really good like favela or something. That kid's not gonna be better than the best one.
Well,
There.
you know what? That's what Vega. I wanted to mention this earlier because Vega talked about this in his podcast interview, and he said how many players were better than him. That he will play in the street, and when a lot of them went into the club for tryouts or to like playing at the Toluca, a lot of them just fell off and they couldn't compete
Well,
anymore.
it's the discipline factor.
Yeah.
Some of these kids don't know how to take orders.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like in basketball, right? Like you have those.
Yeah,
What is it?
like all those N1
the ones
guys
that do all
they
those
can hack it in the
tricks.
NBA. Remember the N1? The
Freddie
street ball?
Adu actually said that about Gio Reyna today, because they were talking about how Gio Reyna was expected to be the next big thing for U.S. soccer, and now like Dortmund wants to sign to Scotland. And Freddie Adu was saying, my problem in Europe was that you're over here sulking that you're not getting your minutes and shit like that. Coaches hate that. Coaches want to see that you're not playing and you're still cheering for your team. You're still like being the team guy instead of sitting in the back of the bus like why me, why me? And that attitude, no one wants to see that. And that comes part of the discipline, the emotional discipline, like put your head down and get to work.
Yeah, I have like two examples of how you talk about talent and how discipline and hard work kind of like trumps it. I was watching that documentary about Johnny Football and how he was like a college quarterback legend, won the Heisman freshman year, and this dude did not watch tape. He barely even practiced. He would just fucking party up and get drunk and then just ball out. And when he decided that he was gonna just go straight to the NFL, the big concern was like he's not cut out for the NFL. Like his talent can only it works in the college level, but not at the professional level. And like his agent like basically forced him to like get really, really like disciplined, and he was drug testing him like every day. And he would still find those moments to break out and just go wild. And when it came to like draft day, he like got snuffed by so many teams. He ended up going to the Browns, but he said he went to like training and realized like this is not for him. Like he hates it. He's not having fun, and he just doesn't. He just didn't enjoy the game anymore because he didn't want to do the hard work of like studying film and doing all the things that you have to do at the professional level.
The discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Vega talked about it, and I found this the craziest how once he made it once he was like in the academy, and how the players would kind of bitch because you weren't supposed to leave, so they would like escape at night, go party. I was like, oh fuck no, I would do that, man. If I got that far, I ain't blowing it away for being at a bar or somewhere, cariñosas, whatever it is, for 2-3 hours. I'm not.
Yeah, but
I'm not pissing it all off.
Man. You gotta let it out in healthy levels.
I would.
My little cousin,
I was like, I don't need to go.
He would show up to parties with his like club soccer jacket because it's like the best club in St. Louis. Like, no man, I can't eat that. I can't drink that. And then once he hit 21, since he didn't go pro, now he's like a party animal. It's like unhealthy. Like he's like addicted. So you got to have it in healthy doses. If not, it's gonna blow up in your face.
Yeah, but not when you're concentrated, which has been a problem with the mixed net team since like forever. They'll be at whatever tournament and they decide to go fuck around.
with some prosties.
Yeah.
Transformers.
That's
Hey, did you ever hear
Stick
that thing that Brazilian players prefer to have relations with transgender women because they don't have to go through the thing of maybe getting them pregnant, so it's worry free.
Jesus.
I mean, that's a goat move right there. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, the logic makes sense, but
I don't know about that one, Chief.
sexuality does not.
Mira, güey. It's just like this. Some people like to drive stick shift. Some people like to drive automatic. All right. Every now and then, you need a lever.
Oh my God, that is not a great
La
analogy.
palanca.
Hey, wait. Have you not been in a car that doesn't have a manual e-brake?
Yeah,
Like,
it fucking
my car
sucks.
doesn't have one, and it sucks ass.
Sucks ass.
So what do you think una ruca que no tiene un e-brake va a hacer, güey?
I don't know.
Ahora, acá I get big old titties, un buen culo, and it has an e-brake? No mames.
Fucking Diaz talking about a prostate exam.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. Want to go over some results very quickly, starting with, we got to go back to Leagues Cup. Toluca, Pachuca, Tigres, Puebla confirmed going to the next round. Juarez was unable to they had such great momentum, but they lost the penalty shootout, so they're eliminated. Chivas finally got their first victory in Leagues Cup against Cincy. Ended up in 6th position, but that's the Leagues Cup stuff. As far as Liga MX, we had Jornada 4, starting with another 7-0. But don't worry, this wasn't Cruz Azul. It was Tigres pushing shit in on Puebla, man. What the fuck happened there?
They got a good old welcome to Liga MX. The same way that Rayados did after the Club World Cup. Like, you get too big for your britches, and then you get your shit pushed in.
Yeah.
Welcome back home.
Crazy. America on Saturday beat Querétaro 1-0. And unfortunately, we don't have Ricky or Ron on the podcast tonight, but they're making some noise with their new signing, Alan Saint Maxime, who's kind of been a journeyman and is landed at America. They finally have, I guess, like their bomba signing. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about him and maybe some expectations.
Bro,
So
I don't even know who he is.
Weight. So he's a Newcastle guy. He went to Arabia, and he was a big deal as a youth prospect for France, but he didn't pan out. And when I saw him, I have to say he looked overweight. So I think it might be a little while before we see him on the field. He's got to get match ready.
Why? You can be fat and playing Liga MX.
Hey, don't disrespect trophies like that.
¿Cómo se llamaba el paraguayo que jugaba con América? Fucking, he was pretty thick.
Charles Sanchez?
No, the guy that got shot in the head.
Oh, Cabañas.
Yeah, he was.
He fat?
He was a thick boy, bro.
He did not have a wide rib cage.
No, there was a photo with him and hookers with his shirt off. He had a belly.
Damn. Well, I don't know, man. All I know is America has been milking the fuck out of this signing. They upload every video him changing underwear, him eating tacos. They acting like they just signed Pinchy Cristiano Ronaldo or something.
Have they not learned their lesson from what was his name? Jeremy Menez?
Menez, dude. That's what I was saying. I think he's gonna be a Jeremy Menez. Like I actually, neutral side. I would like him to succeed. Like I think it would be good for the league, more eyes on the league. But considering the fact that he wasn't good in Turkey, he wasn't good in Saudi Arabia, what makes you think that all of a sudden he's gonna be inspired to be disciplined and be good in Mexico?
He had a decent spell over at Newcastle, over 100 appearances, And I mean, you don't make that many appearances in the Premier League if you're not doing okay. But from there, yeah, it feels like he's kind of been all over the place. And I don't know how he's going to settle in America. I don't think it's a great signing for America, to be honest.
I think one interesting way to look at this is if we compare the bombazos of the Liga MX teams to MLS, and we'll see like a very stark difference in the quality signings that the two leagues have just recently announced. Like Inter Miami just got they just got DePaul, and he's still like tip top, campeón del mundo, guardaespaldas de Messi.
I really don't see. I hate DePaul. Sorry.
Same.
I hate him too, but he's quality. He's a quality player. And then they just announced Son at LAFC. Like these are some heavy hitters right here. Some guys still at the top of the game, and I haven't quite seen like the same from Liga MX. I know Paulinho is dope as fuck.
Yeah, Paulinho's great. I think Paulinho, if Toluca found a way to keep it up, he could be like Gignac 2.0.
And then Correa's pretty good, but like I don't know. I think they have better signings right now.
Son was a marquee signing for LAFC. I think it's a brilliant move for him, and hopefully he'll help the U.S. win the World Cup next year.
Hopefully.
I heard that. That was the mayor of LA, right?
The mayor of LA said, I hope you can help us next year win a World Cup. No, but seriously, I do think it's a great signing for the city of LA. He's Korean. There's a huge Korean presence in LA. So this is huge. This is a huge signing. It's like, when Shohei went to the Dodgers, right? Another huge.
I love the Koreans and their history with LA, especially during the riots.
Hell yeah. He's already served in the military, so he knows how to shoot an AK. But yeah, I think we're always trying to compare ourselves to MLS. MLS has always had like those signings, right? They brought in Beckham when he still had gas in the tank, and that's really not impacted or affected the results, right? We've still dominated in Coca Champions. So I'm not really too concerned about like what signings they're bringing to MLS. I will say, there was that rumor of Boanga going to America, and it seemed like it was close, but in the end, it didn't come through. So this is more on America. Just I don't know if they're just not able to attract the type of names and talents that they used to be able to, but it's a little bit concerned. If I'm an America fan, I'm concerned. You don't have that swagger anymore. You don't have that pull anymore.
I mean, their best player came from Real Castilla.
Yeah.
Which, it's not.
Fidalgo?
That's not the flex. Yeah, that's not the flex that they think it is, that you went and got a guy from second division in La Liga as your best player.
It panned out?
Nah, I wouldn't say that's a criticism. Like, for instance, Barcelona bought Pedri from Las Palmas in the second division. And now look at him. He's absolutely amazing. But he was tearing up La Segunda of Spain before he was the Pedri that is like a starter for Spain.
The two sides of Barca, they get Pedri and then they get fucking Rashford.
I know. They've always been like that, crazy. Like they had this guy Douglas for so many goddamn years, and Malcolm. It was just money laundering. Like,
hey Jaime, but you being a Chivas United fan, you sure already know how this story ends. Rashford's going to be good at Barcelona.
No, he's
and
already.
You're gonna tell yourself, why the fuck did he not do this at United?
Rashford did a lot for United, so I'm just like, it's such a bad move for Barca. Like I've seen some of the highlights on preseason. He's shooting balls in the atmosphere, bro. It's bad. It's really bad.
You said did a lot for United. What? Be a bum?
Rashford? No, he had a good spell for a while, and then he kind of fell off.
A good one season.
No, he had a respectable career at United.
Let's be real, Habibi. It was 2 seasons. He
scored 87 goals, bro. 87 goals. That's
and how many games?
287.
Oh, my miss. Get out of here.
I'm just saying, bro. And he also fed a lot of students. So I got to give him credit as a human. He's a humanitarian. We've had so many flops at United. I don't even want to get into it. But yeah, I think I don't know. If I'm America, I'm like, I get it. You won three out of the last 4 titles. Do we need to worry about bombas? No, but don't try to act like Alan Saint Maxime is the shit, because he's not.
Hey, you know the thing about America, I wish Ron was here, that they deny all the corruption allegations. But Andres Vaca, he criticized America. He's a big America fan himself. And he criticized the directiva, like, we won the titles, but we're not bringing in recruits, replenish the team. Dude, they kicked him out of TUDN. They
Really?
replaced him with an old guy. And he did a podcast earlier today where he kind of suggested that his criticism made him, like, be suspended for a couple weeks. And then I'm like, isn't that fucking crazy? Like, TUDN is supposed to be like neutral,
Hell
which is
no.
not. When you watch some of
They're
the Chivas
absolutely not.
games, the Chivas games are annoying as fuck, bro. They criticize.
It's America's propaganda wing, bro.
Yeah.
It is, but the thing is, Ron and all these America fans will tell you, no, that's not true. Televisa
But like
doesn't run Liga MX.
one thing about America though is, like, let's look at their signings. They got Saint Maximin, who's kind of an unknown. Used to be good, hasn't been good in a while. Who else did they get? Isaias Violante. One good tournament under Paiva, borrado by Turco Mohamed. Now he's at America. They get Alexis Gutierrez from Cruz Azul. One tournament, he's a starter for Cruz Azul. The next, he's kind of a rotational guy. Now he's at America. And then who else did they get? Ralph Orquin, he's a prospect, right? But none of these guys are like top tier, or like guys who are rompiéndola, or like the best guy in the position, right? So, like, I think there's been a drop off in the signings.
I'm not gonna lie though, but being devil's advocate, if Alexis Gutierrez and Violante came to Chivas, they'd probably be fighting for a starting spot, bro.
Oh, they would. I mean,
That shows you the
I
levels of
think
the roster
Gutierrez
difference,
is
bro.
quality, and he can play multiple positions and stuff. But, like, they're not exactly marquee signings. And the marquee signing, Maxine or Saint Maxine, is a guy who hasn't played in 3 months, looks overweight, and is a flop as far as, like, the really high expectations people
Has the
had of him
same goals as
years ago.
Chicharito this year.
I think he's got like 2 more goals than Chicharito in the last year, 4-2 or 6-3. I forget what Chicharito has, but someone said it was double. So not that.
They thanks for reminding me of some of America's recent signings. There was a kid that came from here, Oakland roots, Edgar Cruz. He came in kind of like under the radar earlier this year, and I don't even think he's made his fucking debut yet at America. He's 20 years old and he's 5'5", so he's a small guy. But yeah, I feel like they just haven't had like the signings that they used to have, and it's fine.
Dude, speaking of Oakland roots, I follow a Jurgen Damm on Facebook, and he makes me never want to visit California. like he does these breakdowns of how expensive California is, and I'm like, here's this guy driving a fucking Lambo, tell me how expensive California is. Like, why do I gotta go over there?
You need to send it to me. I want to see his perspective.
Yeah, he was breaking down, like, he went to like Disneyland over there, and like how much he had to pay for this, and he broke down the math going to Disneyland in Shanghai, how it was cheaper to go to China with flights included than go over there in California.
They have a China and Disney. I mean, a Disney in China.
Yeah,
I hear the Tokyo one's dope as fuck.
But it's just eye opening to me. Like, here's this rich athlete who's made plenty of money, who's complaining about prices in California.
I wouldn't say he's rich. I mean, he's made millions in his career. I'm sure he has, but he's also a guy who like just fell off the face of the earth. Now he's playing, second division ball. So who knows?
That's true.
Now, to further continue the slander on the Bay Area, let's talk about fucking Emil Choa.
Yeah.
All right.
What the fuck?
That motherfucker hasn't started for Cruz Azul either. He's their third goalie. He's playing behind Gudiño.
Who was he playing for? San Jose?
He was a San Jose prospect. He wasn't even a starter for San Jose. So the fact that he went to Cruz Azul was like a head scratcher for me.
Like, it makes no fucking sense. It's one of those things of like, bro, like, if that's the type of soccer that they're playing out there, fuck out of here. No wonder y'all didn't make it to the fucking League's Cup.
Look, don't say we, because I am not associated with the San Jose Earthquakes. I do not root for them.
Shut up.
Well,
That's right.
well, I-
Sure,
I'll-
sure,
you guys
sure.
know That my paisano fucking Rubalcaba for Pumas is scoring, and he is from California. So fuck y'all.
What part?
I don't know. I know he played for Cal State San Bernardino, and someone said
No
he also
shit.
played for UCR.
Wait, he
but
played college ball and he's in Liga MX now?
It says
Yeah,
Rialto City in San Bernardino County.
So yeah, man. He's from the IE, man.
Oh
Rubalcaba.
shit, he's from the IE, Inland Empire.
I don't know what that means.
Inland Empire. He
It's-
played for
he's-
Cal State.
Yeah, Cal State San Bernardino. That's what I said. But I also thought he played for UCR a little bit. I thought he played for ambos, but I guess
Said,
it's just San Bernardino.
Ocelot Academy and then Pumas. Yeah. For sure.
Now, really quickly, since we're on the subject of Pumas once again, while unfortunately Thomas has left, I wanted to talk about Seu.
Oh god.
Right.
Dog shit.
Exactly. That's
Swimming pool.
exactly it. It was so bad, bro. At halftime, they had to go in and aerate the field. Like, you saw the workers out there. It was fucking hilarious. With pitchforks to poke the ground in order for the water
Oh
to
my God.
leave, and squeegees trying to get the water out. Like, it was such a fucking mess. And then if you see the videos of the fans, they're literally emptying out their shoes from how full of water they are. It's either that or
If it's
piss.
here especially rainy, is that what it is? Is this like a
Yeah,
more rainy
este es
season
el
than
tiempo
usual?
tiempo de lluvia en México, man.
Es el tiempo de
I know
Taloc,
it is.
güey.
I know it is, but I'm wondering, like, how compared to last year, is it more than the last couple? Because it seems like more.
No, it's always like that.
Bro, no. Todas las presas de México están llenas en este momento. Están a punto de desborde. Like, it has been raining so much in Mexico, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild. Las presas en Monterrey, llenas. Las presas en Chihuahua, llenas. Las de México, la de el Estado de México, llenas.
Even in Jalisco,
Todas, güey.
it's been raining a lot. Yeah. But it's embarrassing that, in this modern age, we don't have, the architecture or engineering to learn how to drain a pitch. You look at England and it rains constantly over there. It rains more than there is sunshine. And you never see puddles on the pitch. Like, not even at the second division level. Like, they got that shit figured out, fam. We need to get some engineers from over there. Show us the way.
Yeah,
I've
bro.
never
It was
been to Seoul, but I always hear that Seoul, the stadium was like a World Heritage thing. That's supposed to be like beautiful and all that. I haven't seen the outside, but from looking at the inside, when I hear shit like that, it makes me think of like when white people go to India and they try the street food and they see the flies and how disgusting it is, but it's so authentic that they call it amazing. That's what I think about Seoul. Indian nasty.
You bring
street
up a good point. There are in America. I know there are historical landmarks, and once you're a historical landmark, you're not allowed to like fix it. I know like the Rose Bowl is a historical landmark, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know if that's the case with the Seoul in Mexico City. I know that it was historic for the Olympics and all of that, and maybe that's why they can't work on it. I'm gonna have.
You can't change the architecture and you can't change the facade, but the infrastructure, the drainage of the pitch, things like that, you can definitely improve.
I'm kind of scared to ask this right now, but Was it a World Cup venue? Joel, I'm leaning on you.
You were
Puma
12 years
Stadium,
old.
yeah.
Or El Sabio?
El Más Sabio. No, it was 70, 86.
Oh,
The
shit.
Olympics 68. Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be a World Cup stadium this year or next year.
No, it's old.
Nor does it deserve it.
No.
All right. The one good thing about this last game, right, and we saw how much it rained, was that the piss on the stands is finally getting washed out because I can guarantee you
Damn.
that cement hasn't been pressure washed in fucking decades.
Hey, I wouldn't be talking because I know El Estadio de Deportes.
Yeah, you don't even have a stadium. Like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, that stadium, I remember as a kid watching Cruz Azul play there, and they had to change to like scooping the ball. Like instead of dribbling, they'd have to like scoop the ball on a breakaway because the ball would get stuck, man.
Bro, Wiki Dios got fucking injured because of it. First match of the season, just se truena because it was getting flooded like that.
Shut the fuck up. You're a homeless guy hating on a poor man. You're worse off, all right? At least that poor man has a house.
Hey,
A house with zero glory. We were the only ones. We've been the only
You
ones to
live in
bring
a
glory to
cardboard
that
box,
house.
buddy.
it's like
That's okay. There's trophies in this house.
It's like you have a buddy who's like, "Hey man, do you mind if I stay at your place? I have nowhere else to go." And then you give him the futon. He's like, "Hey man, my back hurts. Like, can you give me? You have a shitty futon." You're like, you're over here complaining. He's like, "Hey bro, beggars can't be choosers."
Can I borrow your bed?
I mean, at least throw me a fucking blanket.
Yeah, no, it was wild. I saw the images and I'm like, how the fuck? Like, dude, figure that shit out, man.
Dude, and that was Keylor Navas' first game in Liga MX at Pumas home game. And he went from Argentina, they wouldn't pay him on time, to Mexico. He's like, "Oh, I'm good, I'm set, about time." And that's la primera mamada con que le salen.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Gulli mentioned that there was a team that he played at and that they didn't pay him. And like he there was a lot, like even the coach didn't get paid, and they feel bad for some of the players, the younger players that were like broke, and they actually just they all put some money together and paid the players. But yeah, dude, that shit's crazy. That happens in Veracruz.
Veracruz?
Yeah.
Ooh.
No. It wasn't
Easy
Veracruz.
guess.
It was Correcaminos de la Universidad Autónoma de Tamaulipas, la UAT.
No, he
I
said it was
was in
Veracruz.
Nah, bro, it was Correcaminos.
No,
Because he gets recruited back there because León beat them at la final del ascenso. So they told him, like, hey, you already took one from us. Why don't you come back and give us the one that you took away? Take us back to Primera División. So he's like, yo jalo. He goes and he's there y no le pagan.
No, he
So
said
he dips out.
He said Tiburon. Yeah, Veracruz. Because he was playing in La Liga de Balompié Mexicano. And it was because there's another coach that like convinced him to go there. And then that's when he ended up leaving and going to FAS.
Snap. Correction, Jaime. They did not host 70. They did host 86.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, some interesting news around the league. Atlas were dog shit and decided to part ways with Gonzo Pineda. And very, very quickly, they replaced him with, surprise, surprise, Coca. He's back. I can't believe he's back. No tienen vergüenza.
I don't think it's that surprising, man. I would be surprised if he went back to Tigres or La Selección, but you know, he spent enough time away, tiene hambre, and he has a connection with Atlas. He made history with them. He won the doble.
It's fucking disgusting, bro. Like, he left the institution high and dry to go to Tigres.
Not only
And
did
then-
he do that,
Right, bro. He got them
He
two
got a
champions.
team in La Liga
Yeah.
relegated. He went to Argentina and quit on them, and now Atlas takes him back.
And then they
And
make a big fucking deal about it too. Like they're jerking him off, like bienvenido a casa. Da, 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 da. Like no
Tigres
mames,
was the
güey.
dream job though.
Didn't they like
I just felt
give him hella shit when he like went to Tigres? I thought they did.
Yeah, they did.
man.
I'm,
From
well, yeah, but they wouldn't want to lose that guy.
I'm sure jerseys were burned. I'm sure his name was slandered. So it's kind of funny how they do the heel turn.
That's a good job to have, though. I always felt that he made a mistake taking the national team. I just think he was inheriting a bag of shit, especially being Argentine. He's never going to get a fair shake. I felt like maybe he was pushed into it by what's his face? Iraragorri, you know.
Wanted to do well.
But I think
the best part about the Mexico job is getting fired and still collecting your severance pay.
No, yeah, it's
That is true.
Yeah, but he was on the rise though. Like it's like he would have gotten that opportunity again.
Was he though? Because his championships at Atlas were highly questionable. And if anything, the one thing that they always said was that Atlas jugaba como un equipo ratonero. No eran protagonistas, no te estaban metiendo la pipa, jugaban gacho.
Atlas president, brothers. That Pumas game, I will never forget that Pumas game, dude. I hate Pumas, but high kick is a red card for Pumas. Atlas does it, and it's a fucking goal. Like, so many questionable plays. And against Pachuca, same thing. Pachuca should have a penalty. Atlas should have had a red. To me, that bicampeonato does not exist, bro.
America de pendejos leaving 3 points on the table.
They did. Yeah. It surprised me that they didn't fight it. It still surprised me to this day that they didn't fight that decision because there was precedent, which ironically was Tigres, that they actually played like 4 games with an unregistered, I think it was Brazilian, Donizetti or Dosetti, some Brazilian striker, but they played games with him, and the FMF made them replay those games. So they had to replay the 4 games. With America, the guy didn't even play. He just made it to the bench, and I think they took him out in the second half. They sent him to the stands somewhere. And the FMF still, they gave him the loss, and not just the loss, but a 3-0 loss that ended up bumping Chivas. Because Chivas would have been in 8th. That was enough to bump him out. Se sintió el madrazo hasta acá.
So to take it back to Coca and Atlas, and why people shouldn't really criticize it, is because let's look at Coca and what he did at Atlas. He won, 2 championships. Where is Atlas now? In the fucking gutter. Like it makes perfect sense for them to want to go.
I think that's Grupo Orlegi's fault. They
so much so that they're trying to sell it now.
They built a team, right? They had Quiñones, they had a decent squad, and it looked like they were prioritizing Atlas over Santos. They got their return on their investment, and now they're looking to sever ties with Atlas. It was just a quick what do they call it, pump and dump, and
they probably fell off somewhere, so somewhere down the line, didn't get along anymore, and it was like, all right, we're out.
Because, let's be honest, dude, they took the crown jewels from Santos and put them at Atlas.
You know what's crazy is maybe Rifado's right. They both need each other. Because you look at Coca after Atlas, he had that short stint with Tigres. They found out that he was negotiating a contract to coach the national team, and they decided to cut ties with him, right? So his stint at Tigres was very...
No, he just left. He
left high and dry.
He just left. Yeah, he didn't fire me. He left.
He said deuces.
And then from there, obviously, his stint at Mexico, nobody wanted that.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, but it wasn't bad. Like, if you look at...
Dude, we lost to 3-0 to U.S.
Out of 10 games.
That's enough to get fired. And then he goes to Valladolid, and it says that he was relieved of his duties after 8 games. Then he goes to Talleres and he resigns without even coaching a single match. So something stinks, bro. Something reeks.
Hey, and Jaime, you know what else sucked? Watching that Make-A-Wish kids celebrating that they're winning against Chivas. The Santos kid, the president. That was terrible, man. That little big ear kid is celebrating that they're beating us. That's how. Oh my god! And you knew Chivas was gonna lose that game.
You mean
Santos
Chava
12,
Iglesias de la Laguna?
yeah, dude. 12 out of 13. You just knew Chivas was gonna be the one to kill that streak.
It looks like it's a desperate reunion between Atlas and Coca. They both need each other. They're like, hey, remember the good times we had together? How you doing? Shit, man. You know what? Let's get back together. But I never think those ever work out. You know, didn't you have like Ricardo Volpe did that too at Atlas? There's been a lot of coaches that came and went.
It's not working out with Chicharito. It's not working out with Pulido. It's not working out with anybody.
Yeah, you
That
better.
shit never works
It's
out.
that Atlas needs money, man. They don't need like some wonder coach. They just need resources like they used to have. You know, Furch, Quiñones, et cetera, et cetera.
They sold Yeremy Marquez to Cruz Azul. Yeah, they just been pumping and dumping.
Yeah, and he was the creative engine last tournament. So like they haven't been able to replace him. I think the most creative player they have is that left wing back Rivaldo. But you know they don't have a whole lot going forward.
Dude,
So-
you know what I found crazy is Santos has been ass, but Corinthians can't sign players for 3 windows because Corinthians owns Santos like 6.5 million for a
Damn.
player. So I was like, how is Santos ass and they're preventing Corinthians from signing players for 3 windows because Corinthians owes them 6.5 million. So that brings
But
me
I
back
would
to
have
the
leveraged that to get
conversation.
some Brazilians from Corinthians.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like we were talking about the Brazilian league having all this money. How the fuck they haven't paid Santos those 6 million ASAP?
I don't know, dude. Corinthians is like a left wing socialist club, bro.
Hmm.
So, I think they might be a collective.
Okay.
For sure. I was gonna say I lost my train of thought there.
Well, while you get your train of thought back, do want to say that Rifado and Joel in the group chat, they've been sucking off Jimmy Lozano because he's been in first place with Pachuca. And I want to say the only reason Jimmy made it this far is because Santi won him the Gold Cup. That's it. That's the only reason he's made it this far.
Wow. Yeah. That's a great segue. They beat Atlas 3-0 on Saturday and remain perfect in Liga MX. And yeah, that's pretty shocking, especially considering the fact that, you know, Grupo Pachuca is, you know, they assigned some players to go play in Spain for the team that they acquired and that got promoted. So they're looking good so far, but it's a long season, and who knows how things will look like once they enter Liguilla.
Dude, and Grupo Pachuca is never beating the allegations. They just signed this 17-year-old kid from Colombia. Apparently, it's the most money they've ever spent on the youth player. But, you know, Cesar Merlo, the Fabricio Romano from Latin America, he said that Grupo Pachuca still hasn't decided what team he's going to, whether it's the Spain one, Leon, or Pachuca. But at the same time, they get mad that FIFA kicks them out because they can't prove that they're not separate teams.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I know that was it Layun that was dealing with like a similar issue. Like he was acquired by Watford, but then they also own another team, and then he ended up going there. It's like, yeah, it's interesting when you're part of like an organization that owns multiple teams. But the standings after 4 matches, we have Pachuca in first with 12 points. Tigres is in second place, and the impressive thing about Tigres is they're also perfect, 3 for 3, and they still have a game at hand. So, you know, the first game of the season, we were supposed to play Tigres So they still have a makeup game. So they could potentially tie with Pachuca in first place with 12 points. Toluca, they have 9 points. They've won 3, lost 1. Rayados with 9, Cruz Azul with 8, and America with 8. So that is your top 6.
Hey, going back to the Tigres point, you could switch it over and say Chivas wins that game. All of a sudden, we're not ass. We're in the top 7. We're in the top 7 all of a sudden. You know, that's how fickle Liga MX is. But Tigres, you know, I've said this multiple times in the past decade, but Tigres looks scary, man. If you look at their starters, you look at their role players, you look at the guys coming off the bench like Andre, that team looks scary, man.
You
And
know,
how?
I love that goal by the kid who's 5'1", 5'1", Chicha, Diego Sanchez.
Oh yeah, that
Did
kid.
you guys catch that goal? It was such a beauty. If you guys,
I haven't seen
anyone,
it.
if any one of the listeners go look it up, it's like a beautiful assist. He jukes his defender and he scores like a long distance goal. I think it was like the 5th one. But this guy is 5'1", dude, and I saw him live right when Tigres played Cholos, and I was like, who the fuck is this kid? Like this actual child. That's what I thought when I saw him. I was like, why is there a child on the field? And it's Diego Chicha Sanchez.
Ooh, he had
And,
a nice cut on that goal.
It
Yeah.
was exquisite, man. Chef's kiss.
Dude, and to make it this far at his height in the modern game, he has to be
Yeah.
special.
That's how I feel about Gil Mora. I'm like, this guy's starting for the national team. Like, you gotta be fucking raw as shit, bro. As a 16-year-old to be balling out like that, like, there's gotta be some shit.
And at his height,
Yeah.
he's not that big.
So Chicha is 20 years old, man. And when I saw him, bro, like my mom, like growing up, she'd call a kid like cuerpo de uva, bro. Like, you know, you ever seen a kid's body? They got like a little bit of a gut. Like
Pablo
I swear to
Sanchez,
God,
backyard baseball.
I thought this guy was like a literal child, man. A cuerpo de uva. And here he is balling out this weekend, man, and just crazy. Beautiful goal.
One thing to acknowledge, because it's hard to see, like the biggest criticism Liga MX gets is consistency. But you look at the teams that made it to the next round in Leagues Cup, Toluca, Pachuca, Tigres, and you look at the top 4, it's Pachuca, Tigres, Toluca, right? So a little bit out of order, but still, like, it's very clear which teams right now are playing well. They're playing great football, and they're.
But you forgot to mention how Puebla is in the Leagues Cup, and they're the guys that are losing 7-0 today. I mean, during this game that we just mentioned.
Yeah, there's always going to be one. There's always going to be one outlier, one dark horse.
Well, you know who's been asked in both? Querétaro.
Yes. Last place in the league and second to last place in Leagues Cup. So Querétaro they're a second division team. Let's just call it what it is.
And some white guys paid $120 million for that. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have caught. Oh, go ahead, Joel.
No, I'm just saying they paid that amount, but I don't think they were expecting the team to be good from the get-go. I'm sure they studied it.
Bottom last.
They saw the potential and what they could do with that, you know, club and with their investment, with their turnaround. I'm sure they planned it on, and it's going to take a while, but I feel that they're slowly going to turn that team around. I mean, even kind of the same with San Luis. You know, they got bought out. They haven't exactly been world beaters. I think Necaxa the same. They're pretty slow, but I think if they start, you know, they say sembrando raíces, you know, just slowly building the team. You eventually get there. You know, it could take a couple years.
I don't see that happening to Querétaro. I'm sorry.
Hey, you know something about Querétaro? All my buddies, they always say, hey, if you get deported, you go to Querétaro, you go to Mérida, you go to Mexico City. Those are the safer cities. And I think these Americans, they listen to my buddy's advice, and they bought Querétaro because it's a safe city. So they said maybe Americans will come and visit Querétaro and feel safe. Because it is. If you Google it, it's one of the safer cities in Mexico.
Mm.
So who knows? Who knows? Maybe they want to make it a tourist trap.
I just don't see Querétaro like even like unless a team from like an ownership from like oil money, like I could see that being a transformation, but I don't see them doing.
But you don't think these owners would put any money into it?
I don't think so.
So then why buy it?
I think
What's
anything
the
is
point of
possible.
owning the team?
Let's look at one team that is picking themselves up by the bootstrap, and that's Puebla. Right? They've qualified for the second phase of the League's Cup. I've been watching them. They're exciting to watch. They have a lot of jovenazos. They got a lot of interesting players, like my boy Rey from Chivas. They got some other dude named Esteban Lozano for Club America, I believe. Like they have like an interesting project, and I think what we're seeing with Puebla is like in real time a team going from super shitty to not so shitty, and maybe even bang at. So like anything's possible. It might take a couple years though, like Joel is saying.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, we saw the success of like the Santos, the León, and the Pachuca, and their method is not that, it's not that difficult. Obviously, it's not as easy as they make it out to be, but I mean, it's something that could definitely be replicated. We've seen it with already these three teams, and how consistent they've been when they were at least at their best. Pachuca, I would say, still turning in results. But I think there's something there because there is all that talk about TV, the unified TV deal and whatnot. And I think at that point, I mean, because I wouldn't buy something unless that was just my hobby. Other than that, I have to see some type of potential return, some type of,
Let's not forget, these gringos who bought them also own a bunch of other sports teams. All right, so they're in it for the long haul.
Who else do they own?
I can't remember, bro. We've talked about it before in the previous episodes. They own quite a few.
Left nut as a source.
Is it the Red Sox?
Bring us names.
No.
Maybe minority owners, but no way they're majority.
No, not majority. I know that. I remember there's like a baseball team. I think.
Ask Chapin. He's gonna tell you. We've used them before.
I'll ask.
Chapin.
When you look at like the investment groups and like who's taking it serious, perfect segue into Welcome to Necaxa. Finally dropped on Hulu, and it's Eva Longoria is taking the spotlight about this project, and they call her the jefa, I think, or la patrona, yeah. And 2 episodes so far so good, but they did introduce like Ryan and Rob and how they're still like part of this project. And if any investment group in Liga MX, I think they have a chance of doing things. I mean, they have Gambino and they've gotten into Liguilla, so I would give, if anyone, a Necaxa a fighting chance.
I haven't seen it. I don't plan on seeing it, but do they call her patrona by her looks, or is she actually involved on the team?
No, she's involved, dude. She lives in Mexico City.
I think she's more of a spokesperson. But like onto Necaxa, it is interesting because like they sell a lot, they rebuilt a lot. Like it's a new coach, Gago. They lost Larcamon, they lost a few important pieces. And they were looking good, but they got smoked by Orlando City 5-1. And so, like, this team is still, like, trying to find itself as well. Cambindo, while really great last tournament in the beginning of it, he had an injury and then he fizzled out. And I thought he was going to hit the ground running this tournament. He hasn't quite done that. But we'll see if it starts clicking with Necaxa. I think they're still a couple signings away from being, like, a real formidable side. But who knows? Maybe like just with time they'll like get better. But they did get smoked pretty embarrassingly by Orlando City, almost as embarrassing as the Chemos.
But didn't Orlando make the Final Four?
Oh, I'm not sure. But they lost to Pumas. They barely beat Atlas, and then they smoked Necaxa.
Yeah, Orlando was the last team to squeeze in. So Seattle, Miami, LA and Orlando were the 4 teams on the Leagues Cup.
And not to toot my own horn, I did tell the guys from the Lions main who had me on, and they're the supporter pod for Orlando City. I did tell them that like this is a pretty winnable set of Mexican teams that you're facing in Pumas, Atlas, and Necaxa. Like you didn't get a Grande or like like someone who's really hot like Tigres, right? But
What are you talking about? They got Pumas. That's a grande, isn't it?
Oh, that is, but only in name, really.
They were.
Oh, okay. So they're just as grande as Chivas is, right?
Hey, they take 1-year-old babies to the stadium.
Oh,
They're not
God.
grandes. Son grandes pendejos.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say about they baptize children in beer that have
Oh,
a
yeah.
Sharpie
That
beer.
too.
Dude, that's one of my favorite videos. It's this
Oh, my
like little
God.
husky kid with a Sharpie beard, and then they fucking baptize him in beer.
I know, man.
It's so great. That one and the one with the viejito with the little kid is like,
Oh,
pero
my God.
perder contra la América, eso sí duele. ¿Sabes qué, mijo? Cántalo. And the little kid's like,
Goya.
Goya.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I wish Tom was here. 'Cause I'm still trying to understand how someone so educated, well-spoken, intelligent is a Pumas fan. It just doesn't make fucking sense.
I think it's like you go to
It's
Mexico
white
City and you kind of get like attached to like, oh shit, I gotta root for a team out of this city, and I'm not gonna be a America fan because that means I'd be gay, right? And I can't go for Cruz Azul because so it's like Pumas is like the safe bet, you know?
I think
Bro,
a
he
lot
had
of
his
people
first taco de suaperro and he just felt at home. Because, bro, how do you do that as a grown-ass man? How do you do that to yourself?
But Pumas, like everyone still loves them because of Hugo Sanchez and that age where they were producing a lot of Mexico's talent. I think it was
Campos.
like 80s, early 90s to like mid 90s. Like Tuca of Ferretti as a player, and I think he started
Yeah.
off
That
as
was 35 plus years ago.
so.
Nobody gives a fuck
I mean,
about that.
I'm just saying. And then Campos, El Brody, Pumas through and through. He was a big cultural phenomenon in the soccer world, and it even transcended the soccer world onto fashion and whatever. But like they've been at the center of like some of the good moments in Mexican soccer, and so like that's why they have such a big following.
Because they have a cool jersey.
Is it that, or es
Dude,
más porque es un mamador like those people who wear Harvard sweaters who've never even fucking been to Cambridge?
Well, hold
Can't
up. I only wear UCI sweaters, man.
They can't
All
even
right?
spell.
Don't love
They can't even spell
Snap.
Harvard.
That's why they wear
Dice tu madre,
MIT
Le
sweaters.
están timbrando los oídos ahorita.
For the record, some of the dumbest people that I've ever met, Harvard alums and MIT alums. Like, those dudes are book smart. They do not survive in the real world.
Street
Zero
smarts.
social skills.
Yeah. I remember one time I wore a Pumas jersey because that was like our Liga Latina team. And this is like around the time when Pumas were like pretty good. I think they had just like won their bicampeonato. And I was just at the grocery store. And keep in mind, I was a kid. And some guy comes up to me like, Arriba las Pumas. I'm like, you guys have fans in the States? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the only time I've like ever encountered a Pumas fan in California, honestly.
I seen a fall off. I remember growing up, there was more Puma fans, and it just kind of dropped off. I think
What was that
America
kid?
ended up in Cruz Azul.
What was that kid in that Mexican Romance? And he's like some poor kid who falls in love with this güerita white chicken. And he's wearing a Pumas jersey.
Oh, you're talking
forgot
about La Ituma también?
Nah, I'm talking about the one. It's like Romeo and Juliet, but in Mexico City.
Oh shit!
Oh man, I can remember.
Fuck, I was about to say El Carrusel de los Niños, but that
No.
definitely wasn't
Yeah.
it.
No, I know.
Carusel was fired, though,
I
man.
can't remember what you're talking about.
Just Cirilo.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey,
Which one's the one
Diaz,
with
do you remember Cirilo winning the
Justin
race?
Bieber.
He
a
wins a curry.
huevo? Y luego, güey, ¿cuál es la que tiene a esta Ludovica Paleta que le está diciendo, eres un negro, eres más negro que nunca? That was another good one.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember, like back in October, I sent a message to the group chat, like, "Hey guys, there's some dudes playing basketball across my place. One of them's wearing a Pumas jersey. Like, I gotta move." Well, I moved.
That's funny.
Phenomenon.
No, in that movie y tu mamá también. ¿Cómo se llama? Gael Garcia. He was a Pumas fan in that movie.
They were both. Yeah, I think they were both Puma fans.
Yeah, Diego Luna.
Oh, because I'm over here thinking Amores Perros, because the main dude who organizes the dog fights.
Amar te duele. Amar te duele.
All right, but like I was saying,
Oh, yeah,
the main
yeah,
dude
the
who
one where he
organizes
goes,
the dog fights in Amores
"Renata."
Perros,
The dog fight.
he was wearing a Pumas jersey too.
Dude,
So kind of sticking true to the fans. Ahora, now, since we're shit talking about the fans, I've only encountered one Pumas fan ever in my life. And it was here in Cleveland. I took some clients out to lunch at a Mexican spot. And lo and behold, there was one construction worker wearing a Pumas jersey, just day drinking at the bar. And I was like, you know what? This pans out.
My people. Yeah, is there a rivalry with Pumas Cruz Azul? Like, is that like a real thing? Because
Fuck no.
No.
No. Pumas tries to make everything a rivalry.
I know, like America. I know
Pumas
America Pumas is a big one. Like I remember
I
when
don't
they
know.
fucking threw rocks at that
count.
bus. That was like a big deal.
I think that's more on the Pumas end than the America end. But then again, it's muggers versus wallet thieves. So maybe they do hate each other.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
that one is well known across Mexico City. Like they're pretty heated rivals.
Mm-hmm.
I think Pumas, has some of these rivalries. You see them more in the city than outside. But I feel like with Pumas, they sort of dropped off just because they've been cheeks for so long now that it's like, it starts losing some relevance. It's kind of sad to see.
Yes.
Because all of those from the city, if any teams that are within the city, it should be just like instant rivalry, And it doesn't have to be the heated type rivalry, but it's still a rivalry because those are your neighbors. Yeah, it's Tecos. Like in Guadalajara would be Tecos, Leones
Atlas.
Negros, Las Chivas, Oro. So I mean, and these are the people, your schoolmates, classmates, workers and there's like that shit talking, but a lot of those teams went away. Same was with Necaxa and Atlante. They just were never able to like get enough fans to be relevant and have that shit talking. So they sort of had to move. But Pumas, because of the university, and they've always been able to have their fan base. But
Yo,
again,
don't mention the university because that has nothing to do with it. Majority of their fans are criminals. They're fucking phony.
And most of all, unlike the club, the university is actually prestigious and well known across Latin America.
Yeah, but a lot of those are fans. A lot of their.
But the university comes in clutch in recruitment. Like all the players get a free education at the most prestigious Latin American university.
Yeah, I'm sure Dani Alves needed a free education.
You know what? I remember him speaking about it in depth in an interview. Like that was one of the things that really interested in him because he's a flamboyant guy.
And Picolín, the two Picolín brothers are doing
like
fucking
doctors?
car ads.
Oh, never mind.
All right. Well, they might be doctors, but they're doing fucking ads for Nissan.
No,
and not even like Nissan Global, like Nissan local branch.
Salesman. No, one of them's a car salesman at a local dealership.
No way.
Yeah, so that's how far your SEU education can.
Damn.
And nothing against my salesman, I love sales. I'm in sales, but let's not hype up SEU like it's something amazing.
Wow. All right, senor, there's a difference between sales and car sales. All right, like there's a world of difference there. Any fucking retard can do car sales.
You're acting. It's all acting.
For sure, folks. We're at the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to give everyone their opportunity to have some closing thoughts. Thank you.
I'll go first,
Yeah.
if I may. Earlier, Habibi mentioned me sucking off El Jimmy. It all goes back to this tweet from Jóvenes. I think they're called Jóvenes something, Aztecas or
El
something.
Rifado Aztecas.
His burner.
El Rifado's burner.
And he posted this tweet about Andres Lilini revolutionizing the youth teams in Mexico, and he said all the youth teams have won in CONCACAF. They won their respective categories, which we've seen before. But his main thing was there's 15 players now that are doble nacionalidad. 15 players with double nationality in the youth teams. That sparked a bit of a debate. So just my closing thought on that was, yeah, he's doing a great job. And I think that was the goal that the FMF has had for a long time. Because, and I just say it because you've heard it. You've heard them talking about it throughout the years. And I think it's picked up more. And I think we go back when the selecciones missed out on a few tournaments, and I think they realized they needed to be more competitive at the youth level, at least have more players, and in my opinion, it's a lot to do with just how a lot of the teams haven't been working with youth. We're going back then. Now you're seeing like. We're seeing this whole change now in FMF with younger and younger players, more teams having younger players, and so it's pretty good to see that happening. But like in the FMF part, I think they realized some of their mistakes because that was some of the criticism that had happened from the previous administration when they lost Pepe, and I think they lost some other ones. And it was like there wasn't enough follow through, there wasn't enough trying to convince them, and part of convincing them was like presenting a project. And I think that's where this guy comes in, and he's managed to fix.
Quick. They didn't lose Pepe. If anything, Pepe liked the tweet that said Mexicans are like monkeys. They definitely won Pepe over.
Yeah, no, but I mean that was just kind of seen like a talking point. I should clarify. Zach, I've seen the talking point. Some of the like the Mexico news shows like Spicy Soccer and whatnot, where they said, "Oh, they're losing talent, or they missed out on this, or they missed out on that." And I think that's kind of where the criticism was for FMF. But I think it's also showing how much more Mexican American players there's now. It's like I think the number's been growing throughout the years. More people figuring out what you have to do to get into those teams and to get scouted and whatnot. And so, and again, like I said, it's been a long time coming.
Here, Joel, I'll ask you this simple question: do you think FMF and its youth national teams they're better off without Mexican Americans? Like ignore them, they're Americans, or better off without them, or they're better with them?
No, I think they're better with.
Okay, so they're better with. What's the big criticism of Lilini getting 15 of them?
There was no criticism for him getting 15.
Well, the criticism of him like making it, well, like wow, he brought 15 of them, like he's changing the.
The criticism wasn't to Lilini. The criticism was for the guy tweeting it, because to me he's sensationalizing something, and it's very misleading, especially for like people that don't really know the history of it, and you end up just crediting one guy.
The most Mexican Americans they had on the youth team ever. That's not misleading.
I know, but it's
Mexican
been
Americans out of 11 starting in the game.
Hey, but this is my final thought, bro. You go have yours, because now you're gonna derail me. you're gonna derail my thought process and then keep me from making my points because I was going, yeah, because then now you're moving somewhere else. You're moving the goalposts from me. Because I was gonna say that was the big thing for Chivas USA to recruit. It was to the point of Chivas knew that ultimately they needed a bigger pool of talent. Same with Mexico. They understand they need a bigger pool of talent. So I mean, yeah, the Mexican American player right now, you haven't had a world class Mexican American player, or even like at a very high top level. You haven't. You have competitive ones, but you still haven't. But my thought is, eventually you're going to get them. Eventually, there's going to be some that are going to pop out, and I think they're FMF's got to the point. I like, all right, we can't fuck this up. But like going back to Chivas, and because I'm using Chivas because I was like in '05. So even and going back to that, and I think even '02 maybe that's when they changed the rules. Chivas was like not born in Mexico, just as long as Constitution says if your parent are Mexican, then you're Mexican, and that counts. So the Chivas did switch it, and so we're going back like 20 years. So they already saw that, like going back 20 years, that kind of like this is where it's headed, and we need to prepare. So that was my whole point. It's not like FMF never did anything about it. They've been working through that, and FMF did hire the guy. So yeah, that's kind of my problem because I've seen it happen a lot of times in like when Hans Westerhoff came to Chivas and then they reached the final and then a lot of those groups ended up winning the title like a year later. Um, and they all just credit Hans. Oh, he came in and he revolutionized that. And it's like, no, not true. All of these young players have been with the team 5, 10 years. Right? He played a role. Yes, he played a key role in making a lot of them starters and giving them that playing time. But there was a lot of people involved. So it's kind of the same here. It's been a work in progress. It's not like this guy just landed and everything just became good. I think he added to it definitely, but it's a lot of these things have been years in the making. And I even posted a story for you guys from like 2, 3 years ago before he was there when they were talking about trying to convince players and to keep them, because that's another thing that happens. That one time switch and whatnot. So you can have a player, but then you can still decide and go to the other side. So that was my final thought, gentlemen.
Thanks, Wild. Thanks for bringing that up too.
You're welcome.
Because I know that it rubbed certain people in the chat the wrong way, especially Ron. That we're seeing different kinds of Mexicans represent the youth, right? And hey, at this modern age in football, like you got to get crafty. You have to think outside the box, and it's a numbers game, right? You hope to recruit 20 players and expect maybe 1% of them to pan out. It really is a numbers game. Who's up?
All right, I guess I will go next. Oh, I'm sorry. Habibi, you want to go for it? Go for it.
Yes, I'll just say my final thought. With Chivas, not a great start to Liga MX, Leagues Cup, not a great start. Well, terrible tournament. Right now, we come back, do terrible. So everyone should say like, Gabriel should be gone. Team is ass. My only complaint, honestly, is Piojo. I think Piojo's been ass for 4 months.
Yes.
I would love to see Efrain playing that position. If you look at the stats, the team's not terrible. Lots of possession, lots of shots. If you watch the game, a lot of those shots are bullshit. Just random shots outside of the box, a pointless possession. But I don't think the team looks that awful. I'll bring this up to mind. I remember Gago being coach. The other guy after him, I can't even remember his fucking name. The guy from Spain. That was a waste of time. With Milito, I feel there's something there. I don't know if he needs more time because he just took over. People want to compare it to America. You remember the guy America? He's been there for what, 3 years by now. But with Milito, I don't know if it just needs more time, more chemistry. If he needs 1, 2 more recruits, but I still believe in the project. I'm not asking for him to be fired. I think the team looks good. I like los refuerzos. I like Campillo, Efrain, Richie Ledesma, Brian Gonzalez. I think this is one of the better Chivas rosters in a long time. At least in the last 5 years. I'm glad Nene's gone. I'm glad Pocho's gone. I don't want to say I need Piojo to be gone, but he needs to hit the bench for 2 games and come back hot. Like scare him that he might lose the World Cup if he doesn't step it up. But yeah, that would be my closing thought. I would not throw shit out the window. I think Chivas can still deliver. By Jornada 8, we should know.
Thanks, Habibi. The coach after Fernando Gargo was Oscar Garcia. And holy shit, bro. Tell me why I had fucking forgotten that he took over.
Exactly, dude. He was not memorable.
I
12
was gonna say
matches.
Espinosa, dude.
Yeah. No, yeah, you bring up a lot of good points. I 100% agree with you with Piojo. Why is he starting? He's not able to, I don't know, pull the rabbit out of his hat as often as he used to, and we have a lot of options on the wing, and I think it'd be good to give him a little slice of humble pie and put him on the bench for a couple games. Rifado or Abdias, who's up?
All right, I guess I'll go next. So I just wanted to touch on Howell's point a little bit, where I am kind of like fence sitting, where I agree with Howell, but I also don't think that article merits any criticism really, because Leilini debuted 15 dual nationals, right? And that had never been done before. And he was the one to be in the seat of power. He was the guy in the driver's seat who pulled the trigger. He's the one who executed it, and he needs to be given praise for that. And I'm all for that. But like, I do feel like there is a bias in the media of Mexico that praises the extranjero, the foreigner, y al mexicano el palo. To the Mexican, they treat him like crap. And we have someone like Jimmy Lozano, who I thought was like dragged through the mud for a long time and never really supported by the majority of Mexicans, even though he's very talented. And we're seeing that now. But prior to his Pachuca success, he got a bronze with Mexico at the Olympics, and he had a gold cup. Like it wasn't amazing with Mexico senior team, but it wasn't awful, and his Olympic team was good. So like I think we should have like praised him more, but instead we kind of like attacked him a lot, made fun of him for his TikTok dances and didn't think much of his coaching abilities. And the same could be said about Tena, who won the Olympic gold with Mexico. He kind of had to fuck off to Guatemala because he wasn't finding consistent work in Mexico. And that's a tale as old as time in Mexico with Mexican coaches. Like, we don't appreciate them. They have to find work elsewhere because here it's el extranjero number one. And I think it's a cultural thing. I think we see it outside of soccer too, in Mexico, which is unfortunate. But so like that's my only criticism about like how the extranjero gets hyped up in this country. But I do think Leilini is warranted in being being given flowers because he's doing something interesting and he's the guy who's doing it. And maybe the federation planned it, but he's the guy to pull the trigger. And so like we have to give him flowers, I believe. But like now to my second point, which is the Jóvenes rundown. 61 total this week, which I think is a great number. This is back to normal, right? From previous tournaments. And that is 16% or like a little bit over 1/5 of the whole player pool. So there's 378 players available every jornada. 61 of them were under the age of 23. And that's 16% or 1/5. And I think that's a solid number. That's where I would like it. I mean, ideally, I'd love 1/4, a quarter of all the players to be youth players. That would be amazing. But we're not quite there yet. And I'm just relishing the fact that we're back at 1/5, which is great. And then I just wanted to touch on some of the guys that just really caught my attention. I already talked about the little kid at 5'1", Diego Chicha Sanchez. Beautiful goal. Check out his goal if you haven't seen it. It's a peach of a goal. But at center midfielder for Tigres is this kid named Bernie Para, 20 years old. and he started. He got 1 assist during this game, and I think he is more impressive than Chicha, because to start at center midfielder over like guys like Vigon, or like be in contention with like with Goriaran, like they have really solid options at center midfielder, Tigres. And it's this 20-year-old Mexican kid playing there. And I think that's a testament to his talent. And so watch out for Bernie Para. I think he's really interesting. Kiel Mora was kind of anonymous for Cholos, but he did start, 16-year-old every game. He's looking better. But let's see, who else caught my eye? Elias Montiel. He's got 1 goal, 2 assists in 4 matches. So 19 years old. We all know this guy's talented. Just another week of him being better than everyone else, I guess, as far as like the youth is concerned. I wanted to highlight Jesus Orozco. I know we already talked about him. He's 23 years old. And he got red carded. He's been starting for Cruz Azul, but he's been unconvincing. He hasn't been called up by the Selección. I'm like, it was a bad move for you to leave Chivas. You should have stayed there. Toluca, they got this kid named Everardo Lopez del Villar. He's a left back this last game, where they won 2-0 over Juarez.
Yeah.
But he plays center back as well. And he's really interesting. And Turco doesn't play kids. So for this guy to get all 4 of the games, I think 1 as a sub, is a testament to how talented this guy is, because Turco doesn't play kids. Anyways, that's my rundown. That's my final thoughts. Thanks for having me. Appreciate you.
Rifalo, you forgot to mention, did you mention Sandoval de Chivas?
I didn't mention him. But yeah, he did play, and Chivas had 7 youngsters play in this last game, so that was also impressive. But Sandoval, I was disappointed in that he skied that late shot on goal. So like, I wasn't that he's good, he's promising. I would say the most promising youngster for Chivas was without a doubt someone I already touted earlier, was Camberos, who was just tearing, like winning all his duels, creating all these opportunities in the last 10 minutes. Super interesting. Of course, Efrain Alvarez, amazing. And Habibi already mentioned how like he wants to see him over Piojo, who's been lackluster. But yeah. Sandoval, promising, but not the most promising guy. Like some of the guys I mentioned, I thought had a better jornada.
And one thing I will say to your first point about Mexican coaches not getting the recognition, I don't know what else you guys want, man. Tena, he won the Olympic gold medal. He got a fat contract with Cruz Azul. He actually did well Cruz Azul. He won CONCACAF with them. And then he goes to León, Querétaro, Chivas, Juárez, and finally he lands at Guatemala. The way you guys are selling it is like he won the Olympic gold medal. No one wanted to give him a chance, and now he's at Guatemala trying to survive. Same thing with Jimmy, bro. He won the bronze medal. Coca gets fired, and he gets handed the national team. And like I said in the beginning of the episode, he has to thank Santi for coming in and scoring that goal. Because Santi scoring that goal is the reason he has these opportunities now. Because it can make it look like it was a bad situation, didn't work out. But if Mexico loses that Gold Cup final to Panama, it's a wrap. He wouldn't even be at Pachuca right now. So I don't understand this whole like Mexican coaches, they're not getting the love they deserve. One guy went to Cruz Azul and got a fat contract. The other guy got the job in the national team. Like, what else do you guys want?
I think the media consensus is like, oh yeah, these guys were pretty good once, as opposed to us like being like, oh yeah, these guys made history with Mexico, and they're fucking legendary. Like it's the way the media frames them. Also, I wanted to say one more thing. I have an article that I posted on this page that I wrote about the 4 Grandes being eliminated from Leagues Cup at Footmex. And please go ahead and check that out if you guys haven't already. Footmex Nation, and that's Christian Diaz at Footmex Nation. Anyways, thanks.
You gave Ops a shout out. That's crazy.
Nah, it's not Ops, man. We're all supporting each other, especially because there's not that much content in English for Liga MX. So keep doing your thing, Christian. I'll stay for my closing thoughts. I think Diaz is last.
Aquí me lo estoy, papá. No se preocupen. So really quickly, my closing thought is, y'all keep talking a lot about, the anal fist fucking that Seattle Sounders gave to Cruz Azul.
At
Pero,
least
güey,
recognize what it was.
he perdido cosas más importantes que han dolido mucho más que la pinche Leagues Cup, güey. So, neta, me arde un poquito, pero no me duele.
¿Qué te
All right.
duele? ¿Qué te
No hay-
duele, güey?
No hay pedo. All right. So, Larcamón, I still have faith in him. I think he's the man. I think he's the right person for the job. Whatever's going on internally right now with the players or just everyone trying to adapt to a new regime coming in, those are the growing pains. But I have nothing but faith in Larcamón. I've been wanting him for a while at Cruz Azul, and it's finally here. So therefore, I'm staying on the boat. It doesn't seem like he's getting thrown out anytime soon. So just, grab your ankles and hold on. Let's see how fun this ride gets. All right. Now, the second thing is, while we've talked a lot about football and a lot of these other things tonight, I want to talk about the most important thing that's going on right now in Mexico. All right. And that's La Casa de los Famosos. All right. I just want to give a shout out and put everybody on game that if you don't know who Abelito is by this point,
The GOAT.
you're sleeping on it. The GOAT, man. El pinche medio metro terror. All right. He is the guy. That's who you want in your corner. Him and Aldo de Nigris, way. One of the most beautiful friendships that I've seen in TV in a long time. Followed by Elaine. Que güey, she's a baddie like no other, igual que Mar. Ninel Conde, perdón, Ruca, pero ya pasó tu tiempo, time to bounce.
If you guys have money, go buy an Abelito, not an Elon Musk robot. Buy yourself an Abelito.
Bro, don't even buy a Labubu. Go get yourself an Abelito. Like, that's the streets want. That's what we need. Y aparte de eso, que tengan buenas noches, putos.
Thank you, Abdias, for joining us after ducking a couple episodes. We appreciate you. We always appreciate your color.
Hey, no ducking, motherfucker. I'm always here. Siempre le pongo el pecho a las balas y no me escondo. No soy Ricky or Ron. No soy puto. All right? That you guys decided to change the recording schedule, that's a whole different thing.
For sure. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight on a long episode, 2 hours and 30 minutes. We appreciate y'all. Listeners, you guys always listen to the last drop. I see the numbers. Leave comments on our Spotify. You can leave comments there, add suggestions. Again, check out our website, cantinamx.com. I just dropped the trucker hat. So want to add more merch, obviously. And then we're writing articles. Going back to Sandoval, I liked his energy. I also love the fact that he replaced Tiva Sepulveda. And I like what I saw from him, especially learning from Mateo Chavez and how I criticized him because he was making a lot of mistakes early on his debut, and then he ends up becoming one of our most promising players. So I have high hopes for Sandoval. He's 18 years old. Santiago Sandoval Gonzalez, number 226, I think he made his professional debut against Santos. So I love that. I do think that Milito's going to need some time to settle in. This is not the final form for Chivas. And I think it's time we have a conversation about benching Piojo, benching some of these players and giving the youth the opportunity. Camberos is on another level right now. I don't know what he needs to do to just take that starting spot, but he needs to be our guy. Same thing with Hormiga. He needs to be our starting striker. I know he got the nod against Santos, but then he was subbed off for Pulido, which rubbed me the wrong way. So, we'll see. Like Habibi said, I'll wait till Jornada 8 to see where we land. But I'm confident that Chivas can at least get into repechaje with, 10 teams going into that second, the whatever you want to call it, the play-in, play-off. Chivas can definitely finish within the top 10 with this kind of squad. And it's going to take a couple of jornadas to get that going. But yeah, y'all know how I feel about that Mexico jersey. It's ugly. I really hope it's not the final design. And hopefully Adidas will go back to the drawing board yet again. Manchester United, they start their Premier League season against Arsenal on Sunday. Not looking forward to that. Another season of pain. And yeah, I highly encourage you guys to check out the Brazilian broadcast of Liga MX matches. It is so good. The YouTube channel is called Sporty Net. Not Bet. Sporty Net Brazil. They already have their next game queued up. It's Mazatlan versus Monterrey. You will need a VPN to disguise your location to be in Brazil in order to watch it, but it's worth it. And of course, we have some new Welcome to Necaxa episodes dropping this week. So a lot of content, a lot of stuff going on outside of Liga MX, and we're here for all of it. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And of course, we'll catch